maybe number one, maybe tie number one Leland Knox in this world. And then on September 13th, at 21 inches and 11 pounds, 5 ounces, we brought little Leland Knox.
He loves Leland.
And our lives have never been the same. It's been just so incredible getting to
You can go through, Jackie.
kids and just know the type of
You can go through.
life that I want to create for them.
go
So he got to be his little
Oh,
landmark.
So you can-
I'll never forget.
It's locked on the other
I remember one because it took over an hour to get about 15 minutes away because I drove about 5 miles an hour all the way home. But I'll never forget the sense of responsibility that I took on by bringing this beautiful life to the world. I remember thinking to myself, I want to live this good life with you. I want to give this kid the opportunity to literally do anything in the world that he believes he wants to do. Make an impact in the world that he believes he wants to truly make an impact. So then I had to go buy a brand new car a couple weeks later. So the a brand new G-Light. I was terrified. About 5 miles an hour. So I wanted to make sure he was protected. Over 30 flights now. He's already getting to travel. He's already getting to stay safe.
Oh, good, you brought food.
Yeah.
I wondered, I saw him dressing and I was like, what?
Being able to go back and make an impact and share with them what really matters. Meet Tim Tebow and so cool.
That's so cute.
Tim had to sign his little football Instagram the full-size football. His experiences, I believe.
Oh, that was so really live. They brought him out on stage.
Oh,
So cute.
all those women, I'm sure, would love that.
Watching him hold that microphone and talking to the crowd.
Oh
One
my
of those
God.
proudest moments of my life, because I remember just thinking about the impact that he was going to make in this world. Getting to meet Harvey Corcoran last year from Shark Tank, and Patrice Washington came back again this year, who absolutely blew it away. How many of you love Patrice? She's phenomenal impact speaker that just literally motivates people. This little man that Green Life last year. Ladies, I encourage you, why not have a great life? Why not trade in the good life for a great life? Why not make the sacrifice to go from good to great? Why not do what so few people are willing to do for themselves and for their families and for their communities and truly do what it takes to go out there and live an absolutely great life? So I told you I was going to share with you some of the biggest takeaways that I've had from my mentors. It's the number one question I get asked anytime I do a Q&A or speak or talk to a crowd is everybody wants to know, what is it that you learned from your mentors? And so I want to share with you some takeaways that I learned from some of my mentors. Before I do that, I want to just kind of walk you through what my path to becoming a successful investor looked like, what it looked like for me to go from a good life to a great life. So I've told you a little bit of the story. I actually quit my job, and 6 months later, I had done absolutely 0 deals. I had no success, no luck, got a self-proclaimed degree in Duke University, read all the books, went to all the events, and I had 0 deals done. I then ended up investing $35,000 in my very first mentor. Now, ladies, I'll be transparent with you. This was $35,000 I didn't have. This was maxing out IRAs, 401ks, credit cards, borrowing money. This is money that I didn't have. I was literally working on my resume to go back and get a job because I went through all the savings that I had. This ended up being the single-handed best decision I've ever made. I went on to do over 100 deals in just the next 2 years. Simply copy. Because when there's somebody that's done exactly what it is that you're trying to do, reaching out a hand saying, I will guide you and walk you through the process, and you can literally copy off everything I've learned, spending years and years and years and millions of dollars learning things the easy way and the hard way. That is whenever I realized, yes, it may take 10,000 hours to be an expert, but you can simply copy and work with somebody who's already done it, that's willing to guide you through the process, and a whole lot less time, effort, and energy. I now get to help people. I get paid to give back. I literally get to speak all around the world to change people's lives. I get to speak to hundreds of thousands people about how they can change their lives and their families and their communities by taking action, by actually going out there and implementing the exact same strategies that we've shared with you this week. I hope that there's been some takeaways for you. I hope there's been some ahas from you. I've now spent millions of dollars on our networks, on our coaching, on our training, on our specialized knowledge. And that is information that I've invested in myself that nobody can ever take. Nobody can ever take the specialized knowledge that I've acquired. You can take everything that we built from us tomorrow, and I believe we would build it back twice as fast, if not faster, because we have the specialized knowledge. And once you invest between this thing right here between the ears, there's something about it that nobody can ever take away from you. So I want to share some takeaways with you, because I believe takeaways are really and truly what this is all about. Ladies, you spent a phenomenal weekend with a phenomenal group of ladies learning from one of the greatest people in the industry that runs the greatest schools that ever in the world. But at the end of the day, you don't have to take points. You don't actually take something away and go implement it and change the way you thought, change the way you acted, change the way you do things. From this point forward, it's all for naught. So I always look at it on takeaways because I want you to understand that this is not about all the things you learn. This is about how many of you are going to actually take something away. How many are going to actually go implement the things you learn. Because the reality is, you just look back in the day, there's nothing more.
Sorry. I wonder if we could prop my phone up on something. Because it won't work if I put it down here. You know what I'm saying?
Well, can you just, okay, so this is YouTube.
And it's the front camera.
Okay, so then you have to have that, let me think here. Oh, you're gonna air it on your phone?
No, on right now, I'm just live streaming to nobody.
Okay,
But I can send our girls a link to
Right.
the live
but
stream.
what will it, like, how will it pick up?
I was gonna maybe put it in a different room where we're not.
Oh, I see,
I
okay.
just realized that.
Yeah, let's see. Could you, like, if you set it on the dining room table and we prop the phone up?
Yeah,
Okay, so, yeah.
my little ring on the back of my phone broke, so I can't.
Let's see, so this is. Let's see here. Kind of needs to be up higher, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Hang on a second, I have an idea. Okay.
I thought it had a back camera. When I was thinking about doing this.
So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of mediocre.
Hey, at least no, it's good actually. That's great.
Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I'll just turn it up.
And you, as you've seen over the course of this weekend, you can get so much further, so much faster. George
Is it-
Ross, this is a
is it
really,
airing now?
really cool quote. I'll never
Yeah,
forget when he
it
shared this with
is.
me. He said, Kelton, real estate is simple. People make it complicated.
There you go.
Now, this was a right-hand man for a billionaire for over 40 years, helped them facilitate every single one of his legal
Yeah.
real estate transactions for over 40 years on his path to becoming a billionaire. And literally, his only summary of real estate is that it's simple. People make it complicated. Ladies, if that doesn't tell you how simple this stuff we're sharing with you really is, I'm not saying it's easy. It takes hard work. It takes discipline. You've got to make a choice to not live a good life and start pursuing a great life. But the reality is it's simple. And I know that we can provide you the step-by-step details necessary to go do it. Last one, Grant Cardone. People don't have time and money. This is awesome. People don't have time and money. Are you ready? Because they don't invest time and money. Ladies, we can't sit back and expect something different. What do they call that? The definition of insanity. To do the same thing over and over and over and not invest time and money in yourself, but expect to have more time and money in the future is quite literally the definition of insanity. Ladies, if you want to have a different result, you've got to take different actions than you've taken before. If you want to have a different result than the 5 people closest to you right now, then you have to be willing to do something different than those people might have done to get to exactly where you already are. Ladies, if you want to go to that next level, you've got to be willing to do something different than you've done before. Those are some of the biggest takeaways that I've learned from my mentors, ladies. I hope that those have added value to you, impacted you. I hope that you've had even more important takeaways this very weekend. I hope that you've actually learned some things that you're going to go out there and implement. I asked Mom if I could wrap up my time with you today by just briefly going over opportunity that she shared with you, because I want to provide you my perspective of this opportunity. Obviously, I've just shared with you, mentors have changed everything for our family. Literally everything for my family, for our family, for our future families, for generations to come, have been impacted more from mentors than anything else, single-handedly, no questions asked. And so Mom shared a mentorship opportunity with you for the REAN mentorship, and I just want to go over this with you. I want to make sure that you understand the power of it. B, I want to relate to you in a way and help you understand how that's had such an impact in my life and why I believe this can have such a massive impact in not just your life and your family, but your community, your charities, the things that you care so much about, the places that you want to make such an impact in. And so the REAN mentorship, I believe, is single-handedly, no questions asked, the best mentorship for women investing in real estate that exists. I'll be honest with you, I think it's the single-handed best mentorship for investing in real estate that exists out there, period. You're getting the opportunity to have mentoring with Teresa for an entire year. This is every single week. On Wednesday, she's going to hop on every single week and mentor you. There is not a price that you can put on that. There's literally not a value that you can put on that. Going from trying to do this all on your own to having somebody as powerful and impactful as Teresa right there with you every single week, encouraging you, sharing specialized knowledge with you to help you take it to the next level. That is how you start to have your own takeaways. That is how you start to make an impact in your life. Having business launch and set up with coaching to literally help you set up your business. Some of you may already set up a business, but I'd be willing to bet that the vast majority of you have never even set up a business. You're going to be a business owner, ladies. Say that out loud. Put it in the comments. I'm going to be a business owner. You're literally going to set up an actual entity, file it with the state. You're actually going to launch and set up your business with the coach. That's priceless. Setting up our first business was the most impactful thing that we've ever done. Obviously, having that coaching was so necessary along the way. You're going to have marketing with coaching. This is where we're sharing with you all the marketing strategies. Ladies, we've spent tens of thousands of dollars just on one weekend courses to learn how to better do marketing in our business. We've gone and implemented it in our businesses first. Then we come back and actually share that information with you, getting yours launched, set up so you can start getting motivated and distressed sellers on the phone, so you can start getting deals at a discount, so you can start following the golden formula and buying houses at a discount. We are providing an entire year access to Women's REI Results. I will tell you, ladies, this is my mom and I have poured our soul out. All of the years of experience and knowledge and training and coaching and mentoring and networking that we have spent millions of dollars on, we've brought all back together, put it in one place in the state of an art, one-click login platform for you to be able to go in anytime you want and watch step-by-step videos, not just about what is wholesaling, but the contracts needed, the resources needed, not just how to fill out the contract, how to terminate the contract, how to amend the contract, the amendment forms needed. Just print a button. It's right there. The form prints out. There's a video walking you through filling it out. This is absolutely worth the entire investment into the coaching program to have access to those tools and resources that you need. Now, next is probably my favorite, ladies, when you get to meet the most world-class group of coaches that you will ever know. You have entire access to them for an entire year, countless calls every single week for you to hop on and get your questions answered. This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Every day that you need to be able to hop on and get your questions answered throughout the week, you can actually hop on every single day to ask your questions to get your deals done. Now, the network, I could literally skip on past this one because you do not yet to know the value of the network, but I won't, because I will make you this promise. Before this is all said and done, you will look back and say, this is single-handedly the most valuable thing in here is the Women's Real Estate Investors Network. This is the greatest network of real estate investors that exists. This is the most incredible group of ladies that are there to encourage you, support you, most importantly, partner with you, help you, guide you, and provide resources, funding, buying, borrowing, lending. Oh my gosh, ladies, this network will literally change your life if you just take advantage, if you just log in, actually start networking, and actually use it. Now, there's an accountability program with step-by-step coaching because we all need to be held accountable. There's Marketing Madness with Clifford. You're going to get to meet Clifford and have coach calls with him and learn just how impactful having that marketing coach showing you, looking over his shoulder and actually doing the deals while he's doing them, letting you watch and do them with him will change everything for you so that you can start to actually understand what he's saying, why he's saying it, exactly what they're doing in the moment. That will make it so much more confident for you. Lastly here, a VIP ticket to Ream Live next year. Now, I'm sure you've heard all about this event last year's. I'm sure you've heard all about this year's event. It was incredible. Thousands of ladies coming together, all inside the Women's Real Estate Investors Network, fired up for an entire weekend long, where Mom brought in the most powerhouse speakers in the industry to be able to train you, encourage you, motivate you, inspire you to take action, to go out there, get more deals. We saw a crazy amount of deals being done after Ream Live last year. I guarantee you this year is going to be even more, if not twice as much, more deals going out there being done, partnerships being created, lifelong friendships being created right here in this room. It was the most incredible experience. I hope that you've all enjoyed this She Can as well, getting to hear from these powerful speakers, but there is nothing like being in that room next year. So I want to know how many of you are going to be at Ream Live next year. Now, ladies, there's only one way to get there. It is to be a student and get mentored inside of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network, because this isn't just an incredible network. This is the most powerful network of women that have all had training, like-minded, understanding, education, and are out there pursuing their dreams and crushing it in real estate investing. This is well over $80,000. I have joined countless different networks, communities, masterminds, real estate trainings, spent way more than $80,000 on them, and I have never found one that provides as much value as this one at any cost. But Mom is making this accessible to every single one of you at $19,500. Ladies, that is the best investment I have ever seen of all the years I have been investing tens of thousands, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, hundreds of thousands into coaching, training, mentoring, networks. I have never seen an opportunity with every single thing you need to be successful, all for $19,500. I feel like this one decision can literally change not just your life, but the entire trajectory of your entire family's lives. You can make this entire investment back in just one deal, and you have everything else for the rest of your life, having access to the power of the information in between your ears for the rest of your life, to be able to know this information, to be able to go create opportunity for you and your family for the rest of your life. Ladies, $19,000 might seem like a lot of money to some of you. And for some of you, this may not be for you, and this may not be the time for you. You may need to have a job where you make enough money to where you can find a way to invest in something like this. But for those of you that were like me, it was the single-handed greatest decision I ever made. And it was a struggle. It wasn't sitting there. As a matter of fact, for most of our students, they don't have it sitting in a bank account. But the reality is, when there's a will, there's a way. And I believe for some of you that are ready to take control, that want a great life, that want to go out there and change the trajectory of their family, there is not a better way, in my opinion, to get started investing in real estate than joining this mentorship with Teresa. Having all the tools and resources you need for an entire year, coaches, network, training, everybody holding your hand and guiding you through the process for an entire year. I believe this can be the most impactful decision you make in your life. Again, you can make this back in 1 deal, 2 deals for sure, but I expect you and encourage you to go on and do countless deals with this information. I would like to see you on that stage next year getting your 5-deal award or your 10x 10-deal award. Some of you will literally be on that stage probably next year getting your Women Air Award. And you will be looking back saying, I was thinking and questioning maybe a $19,500 decision. When you start to put it into perspective, how many of you know there's at least 1 deal right now in the area that you live in that you could go out and make well over $20,000 on 1 deal, and you have the access to that information for the rest of your life, ladies? That's priceless. Having the information between your ears is what this is all about. And to be able to access that and start educating yourself is literally the difference between going from where you are to where I believe you're meant to be, what you're destined to be able to go out and accomplish and achieve and pursue. So I believe that this is the best decision that you can make. I know that they have decided to throw in a couple of bonuses for the first 50 women that raise their hand and say, I'm ready, I want to change my life. They're including Prime Corporate Services, not just an entity formation where Mom's going to cover all of your legal fees there, but literally a one-on-one strategy session as well as a VIP service ongoing from then, so that you can have the very same people that we entrust with ours to set up your entity, to protect you, that's there to support you and to help you through that process, because that is what they're experts at. And then I am including my legacy building workshop. This is where I literally share with you exactly what I wish I had known from the beginning and walk you step by step everything you need to do to start now, whether you're passive, whether you're active, whether you're going to pursue the path of both until you can become passive. I'm going to walk through what that means, how it works, how to get started, and more importantly, I'm going to provide a 30, 60, 90-day game plan for you to follow step by step to go out, implement on, start taking action to change your life forever. I'm going to be including that to the first 50 women that raise their hand and say, I'm ready, I want to take action. Let's go, Kelton. I want to join the most incredible network of women investing in real estate. I want to be mentored. I want to take action. For those of you that are jumping in and raising your hand and saying, I'm all in, we want to throw those bonuses in for you to reward you, because massive action is what this is all about, taking action. It's so easy to see an opportunity and think about it and let it pass by and one day look back and go, I almost changed my life and changed my family's life. It's a whole nother thing to be that person who says, I'm going to take action. I am ready. I've made the decision. I'm going to be the one in my family, right? As Ed Milet says, I'm going to be the one, right? I am the one in my family that decided to take action, that decided to change the trajectory of my family. I appreciate the time together. I appreciate you all allowing me to share with you this information, the specialized knowledge, the impact that real estate has had on me and my family. I hope you've learned from some of the specialized knowledge I've shared with you. I hope you enjoyed hearing from some of the takeaways that I've learned from my mentors that have completely changed our business. I can't wait to hear from some of the takeaways that you've learned from your mentors. I can't wait to meet some of you at Reen Live next year. I've enjoyed our time together. I wish you the absolute best. As always, dream big and be brave.
Can we give it up for Kelton? Oh my gosh, what an incredible segment. I love the house hacking empire building strategy that he just shared with you. And now we are going to take a very short break. If you're on Facebook, just keep in mind we are going to start a new Facebook stream, so we have plenty of time to share with you more speakers coming up very shortly, as well as a Q&A with the Todd family, answering all of your questions from the past 3 days. So you absolutely can't miss it. We have Ryan Burt coming up after the break with the art of borrowing money. So a little bit more about OPM, and Brooke Thomas sharing all about, personal motivation. Your health is your wealth. There is so much more to be shared with you. And of course, Teresa's going to come back at the very end with a huge, amazing talk that is really going to inspire you. So I will see you in 20 minutes.
Okay, come on, Elijah.
Lord, how do I find groups?
Well, you were right, it was close. Okay.
There we go. awesome.
Yeah, the sunscreen, the white one, and then, supposed to make you more tan. Yeah. I just feel it.
And we are back. I hope you enjoyed that little break. Did anyone stretch and get some nice fresh air? I know in Texas it's a beautiful sunny day outside, so I'm hoping that you were able to take some notes, look over all of your notebook, and be able to have a refreshed start to this next segment. So our next speaker is going to be sharing a little bit more depth into OPM. His name is Ryan Burke, and he is going to share with you the art of borrowing. He's going to really explain and help deep dive into good debt and bad debt, and all of the things that you can utilize as part of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network. So I'm going to allow you guys to get right into it. Ladies, let's hear it up for Ryan Burke.
I have to say it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you ladies and pass along a gift to all of you that was passed along to me years ago, a couple decades ago. And this is a gift called financial education, right? Let me see by raise of hands. How many of you understand the power of true financial educations in your life? Raise your hand up high and say me. Financial education. And how many of you realize that financial education, this is not something that our kids are being taught in school. This is not something that we were taught in school. And by the way, there's a reason for that. That's by design, but that's a whole different seminar. We're not going to get into that stuff. But financial education. And so we're going to be extremely strategic here. And I know that you guys have been focusing on lots of mindset type stuff this weekend, yes? And how important is mindset, by the way? It's extremely important, isn't it? See, a lot of people don't realize the most powerful piece of real estate that any of us will ever own is this one, right here. This is the most prime piece of real estate that any of us will ever own. And because most of us weren't lucky enough to be raised by investors, we were raised by consumers to be consumers. I don't know about you, but me, before I got out there and started crushing real estate, I had to do a little remodeling up here in this piece of real estate so that I could get out there and start absolutely crushing real estate. And, you know, it's interesting. Kim was up here and she was showing a financial statement, right? And she talked about assets. She talked about liabilities, right? An asset is defined as something that puts money where? In your pocket. And a liability is defined as something that takes money where? Out of your pocket. Is it possible that our brain is either our biggest asset in our life or our biggest liability? Is it possible that the way we've been taught to think and act is either putting money in our pocket consistently, or maybe it's taking money out of our pocket? Is that possible? So this is why mindset's important, but we're going to shift a little bit here. And we're going to get into some financial education. We're going to get into some tactical, strategic strategies here when it comes to one of my absolute favorite topics, which is the art of what? Borrowing. The art of borrowing. Creative financing. Creative deal structuring. Right? And so it's kind of interesting if someone was to ask, what business is the Todds in? What business is someone like myself, Rye Guy, in? I've been doing real estate for close to 2 decades. What's the most common answer? Real estate, right? That's the most common answer. Everyone's going to say real estate. Now, we choose to use real estate as a vehicle to create generational wealth, but it's important to understand it's just a vehicle. See, we're in the business of borrowing. This is our motto. We are in the business of borrowing. See, every single time I borrow, I get paid. Every single time I borrow, I get paid. How many of you would like to get paid more? Raise your hand up high and say me. Every single time I borrow, I get paid. And so ultimately, that's a very important concept because, again, I was raised by some very negative, scarce-minded individuals. I was raised by a consumer to be a consumer, and I was actually taught not to borrow. I was taught don't borrow from anyone, ever. I was taught don't go into debt. I was taught debt is bad. How many of you, let me see by raise of hand, how many of you are taught the same thing? Hold your hand up high, let me see. Look around the room. Look, isn't that interesting? We were all taught the same thing. But as I started surrounding myself with high-level entrepreneurs and investors, you know what I realized? There's a big paradigm shift. Everything my consumer parents and teachers taught me, which, by the way, they're doing the best they know how with the tools and consciousness that they were given. Is that true? But everything that they taught me, I started realizing was the exact opposite that all of these wealthy individuals were doing. See, they told me, if you want to be successful and you want financial freedom, you need to do what with your money? Save. Save your money. Where do I save my money? In a bank. Well, the bank pays me 0.25%. Yet
inflation is over 10%. By the way, it's a lot higher than that, but they've manipulated the formulas when they removed us from the gold standard in 1971, so that people don't understand how far the currency is actually dropping, right? They don't want to get, but again, how can I get financially ahead if I'm just saving, if I'm scarce with my money, and I won't let it go and get out there and start going to work for me if it's earning 0.25%, but inflation is over 10%. That's called the law of diminishing returns. And I'm not a very smart individual, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that saving doesn't get me where I want to go. It doesn't get me ahead. It's actually taking me where? Backwards. See, here's a very important concept that we can get into. Very important concept. I didn't save my way to wealth. I borrowed my way to wealth. I borrowed my way to wealth. So we're in the business of what? Borrowing. We're in the business of borrowing and turning money. I borrow it and I turn it. What do I turn it into? More money, right? See, this is very important because how consumers think about money versus investors, how investors use money, how they leverage and borrow, it's very, very different. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get into some borrowing strategies. And as we do, you're going to feel your confidence go up dramatically. And you're going to feel more confident leaving here this weekend to get out there and get in front of people and start presenting them with opportunities for them to get involved on your deal. And by the way, that's what you're doing. You're not asking anyone for money. You're presenting an opportunity, because if you can show someone how to get over a 10 times greater return on their money than they're currently making in the bank right now, are you asking them for money? Or are you providing them an unbelievable opportunity? An unbelievable opportunity. And so it's important to know that we all have a relationship with money currently. See, a lot of people don't know this, but neuroscience proves this over and over again. 92% of our programs, they're installed in this operating system by the time we're 7 years old. And for most of us, we already have a relationship with money by that time. And it comes from who we spend the most time with and just overhearing financial conversations. Sitting in the backseat of the car and listening to our parents have a financial conversation, right? Sitting at a dinner table and listening to our parents have a financial conversation. And by the way, would you say that in most households, a typical conversation goes something like this? Man, we got so much money coming in. This is crazy. We should take a bunch of trips. We should... With Christmases, where this Christmas is going to be insane this year, let's go to the toy store. Let's go get a bunch of stuff. Is that a pretty typical conversation? That's not a typical conversation, is it? Most conversations are the complete opposite. Well, Christmas might be a little light this year. Vacation, we'll probably have to stay local. Well, no, we can't afford that. We can't go to the toy store. We can't afford that. What, you think money grows on trees? Right? And so what most people don't realize is, as a youngster, subconsciously, we create a relationship built around lack when it comes to money. Scarcity, lack. We think there's not enough of it. So we got to hold on to it tight. And all that's doing is taking us further away from where we want to go. We got to be willing to let our money go so we can get out there and make friends and network. Have you ever heard your network will determine your net worth? Well, yeah, you got to let your money go out and network so it can increase your what? Your net worth, right? We got to be willing to let it go. Everyone do this. Got to be willing to let it go. Let it fly out there, right? Let it go. And so I'm here to tell you right now, there's more money available. I should say fake money, because we haven't used money since 1971. When we removed the gold standard, right? But there's more fake money available now than there ever has been. We've printed more money in the last 4 years than we ever have in that time period. All you got to do is learn how to access it. Should I teach you? You guys want to learn how to access some money? Let's go, because it's important to know that your financial training and your financial mindset will equal your financial future, period. If you want to increase your finances, if you want financial freedom like Kim was talking about, you got to increase your financial education. You got to get educated. Because what we've been taught about how to make money, it's created our current financial situation and our current limitations. The business of borrowing. See, again, we all raised our hand. We're all taught that debt is bad, yet the only reason I'm wealthy is because I have a lot of what? Is that interesting? Is all debt born equal? See, I had a mentor, financial mentor, a very powerful mentor of mine. He asked me a question one day. He said, hey, Rye Guy, how many sides to a coin are there? How many are there? Some say 2, some say 3, right? I said 2. He said, no, there's 3. Heads, tails, and what? He said, true intelligence will always lie on the edge because it's the only place we can see both sides. And see, most people have only been taught one side of an issue. And then they grow up making decisions and taking actions based on having half the intelligence. Is all debt bad? Can debt be good? See, there's good debt and bad debt. Good debt, investor debt. Bad debt, consumer debt. Good debt pays me. Pays me. Puts money in my pocket. Bad debt does what? Takes money out of my pocket, right? And so we're going to go ahead and dive in here. We're going to talk about raising capital, increasing buying power. I do think it's important to share with all of you that I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an accountant. I'm actually just a regular old surf dude that barely graduated high school, never went to college, but I've been able to figure this out, and I'm going to share my secret with you in a little bit of what my secret to success has been. It's nothing major, but what I'm about to share with you should not be construed as financial, tax, or legal advice. Should we always check with the proper professionals before implementing high-level strategies? Yes. Now, let me ask you, should I use my money or should I use someone else's? Well, it depends who you ask, right? Depends who you ask. But see, ultimately, as a professional investor, I want a professional model. Right? I want to use other people's money because as an investor, when I'm structuring a transaction, I want my financial return to be as high as it can be. And I want my financial risk to be as low as it can be. Well, if I'm putting money into a deal, how much am I risking losing? So what's my financial risk? 100%. Because I'm risking losing all of it. If I have no money in a deal, how much am I risking losing? 0. Could I lose a reputation? Yeah. Could I lose credit? So there's other type of risk, but I'm talking about just financial risk. Because what is everyone so afraid of in real estate investing? Losing what? Money, right? Losing money. So I want my financial risk to be as low as possible. I want my financial return to be where? As high as possible. Well, if I have no money in the deal, and I make 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand on a deal, what is my return? It's actually infinite, right? It's infinite. So what's higher than infinity? So if I can structure a deal where my return is infinite and my financial risk is 0, that means my return's basically as high as it can what? Go. And my financial risk is as low as it can. Who likes where we're going with this? Raise your hand up high and say me. Is this good stuff? See, it's interesting because the most successful people I know in real estate, they invest as if they're broke. They invest like they have no money. They invest as if they have no money. See, most people think that money's the hardest part of real estate. I think it's the simplest part of real estate. See, because money follows money. Money follows money. Money will flow in the direction that it feels like it's going to be treated best, by the way, because it's not real. The only thing that's real is the intention and energy behind it and what you use it for. Think about people that have really big hearts, that give back a lot financially. It seems that money just keeps flowing endlessly. And people that are scarce and are holding onto their money so tight, they've created what kind of life? A scarce life, right? We have to be willing to let it go. And so when you're raising capital, there are some rules that you want to be aware of. Okay, now we don't have time to go through all the rules, but I will say you should familiarize yourself with them. You can go to the SEC website, sec.gov, right? And you can familiarize yourself with the rules. What a beautiful community, my friends. So it's really simple. It's really simple. You can find lenders existing, or you can create them. You can find lenders existing, or you can create them. Now, you want to have a good pitch or presentation, right? But you should also have a private money lending section on your website that you can also drive people to before you give them a presentation, right? Help increase their IQ a little bit around this, right? And then ultimately, give them a good presentation. You want to share with them how private money works, why it's more beneficial for you to use a bank or use them versus a bank. Even though a bank you'd pay way less, but you lose all your competitive advantage, and this allows me to close fast. And because I'm so good at finding deals with such good spreads, I can afford to pay the extra interest to have that competitive advantage, right? And once I go through my presentation, I can't tell you how many times people go, well, so like, how does it work then? Do I just give you a check? Where do I write the check to? I'm never going to take the money. I'm always going to have it go through escrow or attorney, depending on the state that I'm working in, right? So I'm going to say, well, once I identify the property, then we'll set all of that up through escrow or through an attorney, again, depending on the state that we're working on. And, right, then from there, what you're going to want to let them know is that once the money comes in, we're going to close the deal, and they're going to sign and file all of the investor security docs. Okay, now write this down. You don't have to understand these docs or how to draw them up because escrow will do it for you, but it's important to understand this to teach your potential private lender how they're protected. Okay, the first critical document that's going to be put in place is either a mortgage deed or a deed of trust, depending on the state they're operating in. That gives them what? Security. That gives them a lien against the asset. The second document is going to be a promissory note. So all the terms and conditions that we've outlined and agreed to, that's going to be drawn up in the promissory note. Okay? And then the third document that's extremely crucial is you want to let them know, Mr. or Ms. Potential Private Lender, I take out hazard insurance policies on every project that I do, and you will be listed as a what? Loss payee. You will be listed as a loss payee for the amount of money that you lent on the deal. So again, God forbid, in a worst case scenario, house burns, catch fire, burns to the ground, your money's insured. The insurance company's going to cut you a check directly. So their money's what? Secured and what? Insured. Then what happens? You rehab the house, you sell it, and you pay back your happy private lender. And what are they going to say? They're going to be telling you need to increase your marketing budget because they got a lot more money. Because what did they actually do? Who did all the work? You did. By the way, did they get paid without you? No, because you're the one that knows how to find deals. You're the one that knows how to analyze deals. You're the one that knows how to structure deals. And you're the one that knows how to fund and operate an exit. You're the only reason everyone gets paid in a transaction. It's actually powerful if you think about that. It increases your confidence, doesn't it? I told you, 35 minutes ago, I said, hey, by the end of it, as we go through this, you're not going to feel like you're this capital raising machine, but you're going to feel your confidence starting to raise. How many of you are already feeling a little more confident right now than you were 30 minutes ago? Raise your hand up high. Let me see. Yeah, that's it. That's the power. You want to continue to get educated, right? Continue to get the knowledge. Continue to get the implementation side of it. Implement, right? See, this is why private money lenders are going to absolutely love you. They need you as much, if not more, than you need them. Because what's their alternative? The bank. Think about it. That's their alternative. It's the bank. By the way, I'm not gonna go deep into the rabbit hole on this. This is a whole nother seminar. But how many of you truly know that our monetary and banking system is actually the biggest scam in the history of our country? Let me see, like really, raise your hand if you really know that. How many of you know that the banking system is basically lending you money and charging you interest on money that has never and will never exist? And if we did the same thing, it'd be called fraud and we'd be locked up. Seriously, you guys know what fractional lending is, right? If I put $100,000 in the bank gets to lend 10 times that amount out. So I put 100,000 in, I just gave them $1 million lending power. Now, where did that other $900,000 come from that they get to lend out on? Did they print $900,000 of Federal Reserve notes, fake money, which by the way, it's not money. It's a Federal, you look at a bill, it says Federal Reserve notes, and no, it's a promise to pay. It's just a debt. When you give that to somebody, you're just discharging debt. You're not actually paying, right? But this is the society we live in. But check this out. Did they put $900,000 worth of gold or silver in a vault? No. They created it out of thin air. So now, on your $100,000 for the year, you make $250, but you just gave them $1 million in lending power. Is that a fair deal? How many of you would like to participate in fair deals where there's equal value and consideration being brought by both sides? And how many of you think that if you educate people out there that have capital in the bank, they would actually like to participate? And how many of you think there's people in this community right now that want to lend more? You know, you guys need to start getting more education, start implementing more and doing more deals so you all can make more money together and lend each other money. Right? That's the whole deal. Guys, by the way, if you ever go to a bank, have you ever noticed there's always candy up there? What kind of candy is it? Suckers. And have you ever noticed what name brand it is every time? Dum-Dums and Suckers. By the way, would that be a good little joke for your private money presentation? Yeah, right? Here's another thing that you can do when raising capital. You show someone, hey, Mr. or Miss potential private lender, right now you have $100,000 sitting in a bank at 0.25%, right? Over 6 months, the bank's going to pay you a whopping $125. You just gave them $1 million in lending power. Over 6 months, they're going to pay you a whopping $125. But if you put that money into a deal with who? Me, I'll pay you 10%. Over the same 6 months, you'll make $5,000 instead of $125, and it's backed by what? Because it's secured and what? Insured. Secured and insured. By the way, I'm not just teaching you how to raise capital, I'm teaching you how you should do your presentation. These are all slides, so get a picture of this if you haven't. Copycat in school. I'm literally the best copy. It was interesting. I grew up on the beaches of California. Get to see the before me when I didn't even know what escrow was. Serious. I didn't even know I didn't know what an EMD was. What's an EMD? I didn't know any of this stuff. But can anyone learn this stuff and increase their confidence? Yes, anyone can learn this stuff and increase their confidence. I mean, like I told you, my friends, I barely graduated high school. You kind of have to go graduate. It was interesting. I grew up on the beaches of California. I'm a surfer, and it was interesting how like when the waves would get good, it was crazy. I'd always have to call into school. I'd get this eye problem, and because I couldn't see myself going to school. I'm kind of knocking the dad jokes out of the park, right? Come on, you know the deal. But it's interesting because I barely graduated high school. I never went to college, yet I've been very blessed. I've been able to create tons of wealth for my family, and really, there's a secret sauce to it. And I'd love to share it with you if you want to know. You guys want to know? I'm literally the best copycat that I know. I'm serious. I'm literally the best copycat that I know. I am. You know what's funny? I tried to be a copycat in school. I was always in trouble. They called me a cheater. I was always grounded. It's interesting. When I became an entrepreneur, I learned they don't call it cheating or a cheater. They call it franchising. They call it having a mentor or a coach, right? It's kind of interesting. My friends, I've been very strategic in how I've invested my money. I've invested into lots of financial education, and I've invested with multiple one-on-one coaches. I have. Because a lot of people think it's just the education. If I could just get the education. The education's great. Financial education's great. But there's no risk in the education. All the risk is in the what? The implementation. And so I never see anyone losing money sitting in these seats learning. You see them losing money when they go out and do it. Because of that, they're scared. And fear can become a stop sign. But can we also use it for a fuel? We can let it be a fuel. And so for me, again, I was raised by very scarce-minded individuals, and I was always told, don't ask for help. That's a sign of weakness. Do it on your own. But I can tell you that, man, the first time I had someone put their hand out and say, I know you're scared. I know you're fearful. But you know what? It's all good. Because all you got to do is grab onto my hand. And we're going to do this together. And yeah, I know you're scared, but you know what? I've done this 1 million times. It doesn't get my heart rate up. It doesn't get my blood boiling. And even though you don't know what your next move is, I do. So what you know about this right now, it's irrelevant. All that matters is what I know. But if you're willing to grab my hand and spend time with me, what I know will turn into what? What you know. And before you know it, you're a stone cold, fire-breathing real estate investor, and you're putting your hand out. And you're helping other people. But I'm telling you, when someone puts their hand out, grab it. Grab it, my friends. The last thing I want to say to you is every single one of you in here, you can do anything you want. You can have anything you want. You can help as many people as you want. But it starts with deciding right now. When? Right now. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how frustrated I get. I don't care how challenged I feel. I don't care how many times I fall down. I don't care if I have dream stealers drinking haterade, kicking me when I'm down. I'm going to get right back up and I'm going to keep going until I get the result. Period. Period. And if I think that way, will I be successful? Is it okay if it doesn't happen in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year? Because you're going to keep on what? You're going to keep on going until you get it done, period.
Woo! I hope that you guys enjoyed Ryan, and we're rolling right into our very next speaker. So we have Brooke Thomas, a powerhouse entrepreneur who has built an 8-figure empire empowering business women to write their own rules for success. Brooke's journey began with a cancer diagnosis in 2004. She was diagnosed with stage 3 melanoma, which was the catalyst to change her life and accelerate her pathway to success. Brooke is a highly sought after motivational and keynote speaker, author, and she has been featured in numerous media outlets, including Forbes and Huffington Post, has appeared on multiple television networks. But most of all, Brooke has a heart for the undeserved. And as a result, she started a nonprofit named Love Out Loud. Love Out Loud brings a faith-based business women together, offering them the opportunity to amplify their impact in the world by pooling their resources for the greater good. Brooke continues to be cancer-free and is determined to live her life out loud. And she is going to show you exactly what living out loud means. She has done this with her family in Newport Beach, California, and is teaching women all over the nation to do the very same. She's very near and dear to Teresa's heart, and so is her mission. And I can't wait for the message that she is about to share with you. So now, Brooke Thomas.
I'm here on purpose and for a purpose. I have a massive reason why I'm here, because I'm on a mission to make sure that you're awake to the possibilities and the opportunity in front of you, right? Woo! You know I like a little energy. I'll bring it if you don't, but this is why I love you ladies, because you bring the energy. I know that you're not accidentally in this room. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? I know that every single thing that you're going to hear, what you've already heard, who you're going to meet over the next few days, will absolutely impact your next move in your business, your life, and your faith. Can I get an amen? So here's my question. Why did you really say yes to being in this room? Think about it. Meredith, why did you say yes to being in this room? Yeah, she doesn't want to be the same person tomorrow than she was yesterday. Who else? Why did you say yes to being in this room? I'm so glad you said that, because that's exactly what I'm going to talk about. She's so sick of saying, I can't do it or I'm not enough. One more. Why did you say yes to being in this room? Learn, grow, and what? Meet new people. I'm going to talk about that too. Thank you. Okay, good. We're all on the same page. Being self-aware of why you put yourself in rooms, why you decide to partner with certain opportunities or people is so important. Being self-aware is key. It's how you really know what you really need, and it's how you decide what to receive and what to do about it. You tracking with me? Good? Okay, so I want to know, do you think that maybe there's some people in the room that are here because they feel stuck, maybe lacking confidence in their next move? I think so, right? I see some heads going, yeah. Or maybe you just came because you need a fresh vision to keep going. Anybody? Yeah. Maybe you came to be inspired by others that have gone before you and have the success you desire. Yeah? Anyone out there for that? Okay, well, I believe you're going to get exactly what you came for. Exactly what you came for. So I'm here to remind you that this is your moment in time. I want you to take this moment in time and just go, yes, this is my moment in time. You're not too late. You're the exact right age that you're meant to be in this season. The exact right age. You have the right voice. You have the right look. You are exactly where you're supposed to come, like you came from the exact place that you were supposed to come from, okay, to do what you're called to do. You have the exact sound that you're supposed to have. I speak to way too many women that think it's too late. They're too old. They don't sound the right way. They didn't come from the right place. No, you're exactly who you're supposed to be. You have to believe that. It's exactly on purpose for this moment in time. So don't question it. It all matters. You matter. You have this incredible opportunity in front of you to change your legacy. And you know what I believe? Truly. To change the world. Come on. Just this room alone can change the world. Do you understand that? Do you believe it? I mean, you are changing the game for women. Do you know that? You are changing the game for women. You are changing the game for the next generation. You're inspiring the next generation to what is possible. Yes. But you must be aware of the story that you've been telling yourself. What's that story you've been telling yourself? Because you just told me, and it's not true. You are so worthy. You are so capable, and you definitely can. So what really stops you? Like, we all have these things that stop us. What causes you to doubt? If I were to just come up to you and be like, okay, what has been stopping you? You've got this opportunity, you've got the thing, you're ready to go. What is it that actually stops you? We have to be honest with ourselves. What causes us to doubt? Every day, okay, fear. Oh yeah, let's get it. Who else wants to speak? What causes you to doubt? Unlimited beliefs, fear. What else? Other people. I know, they're so scary. Other people are so scary. That's why you love it here, right? Don't you feel so good? That's why I love coming here. I'm like, my ladies. Remember last year when I asked for hugs and there was lines of hugs and it was like, thank you. I've been in many rooms this past year speaking to women from all over the U.S. that have opportunities right in front of them. That's why I'm speaking to you like this, because you're right here with this opportunity in front of you. And I've been talking to so many women, and the thing is that they have the gifts, they have the ability to create this lasting impact, but for some reason, they're not fully awake to it. They're not awakened to what's really possible, what they really have inside of them. They have felt discouraged, disappointed, worn down, delayed by comparison. Anybody feel that way lately? I mean, I'll just raise both hands if you want me to. I feel that way on day by day, week by week basis. But the women I've been talking to, they seem to be sleepwalking, unaware of their calling. That's why I'm here. Because working with thousands of women this year, I've seen that it can take one room, one voice, and one phrase for someone to literally be awake in a moment and have hope again. Who wants hope again? To feel driven again. Who needs to feel driven again? Or even to be aware of their calling again. This is why I'm here. It's your moment to be fully awake and be reminded of what you have in front of you, what you really have inside of you. 2 Peter 1:3, one of my favorite scriptures. I say that about all of them that I will mention ever. But this scripture I love because it says that we have everything that we need inside of us to do what we're called to do. You were created to do what you're feeling called to do. That's why you're here. It's not a mistake. So remember, you are on a mission. You have a unique purpose on this earth, but you're not on a mission alone. You are part of an army of impact. An army. Do you guys look around? This is an army of impact, right? Yes. If we do not live fully awake and take action to what's available to us, our daughters suffer. And the next generation of girls suffer. I want to ask you another question. Do you remember who you were before somebody told you who you weren't? Yeah. Have you ever had labels put on you that caused you to freeze and actually doubt your abilities and maybe even shut down your voice? I know I have. I'll share first. I was called Babbling Brook for most of my life. I know you can laugh. It's okay. I'll accept the term now with pride. But honestly, as a little girl, being told like, "Oh, Babbling Brook, she's just talking too much," or "Shh, settle down, Babbling Brook." Sometimes it was family members, sometimes it was friends. It kind of took on a little joke of itself, and it sounds cute now. Like I'll totally take it on now because I am Babbling Brook, and I'm proud. But it really affected my voice. It was the enemy at a young age coming against me, feeling like I had anything substantial to say. And God replaced that word a few years back with Bubbling Brook. Yeah, Bubbling Brook. If you look up what a Bubbling Brook does, it refreshes you. So I'm here to refresh you, ladies, and I'll take that label, and I'll take the other label because I know who I am. But for so long I didn't, so I allowed labels to actually tell me who I am. And that does affect our business. It does affect our faith, our life, our family, our relationships, our health, all of it. And so that's why it's important. I want to tell you another story about a label. This one's a tough one. I'm going to try not to cry. It's an important story to share. Still a little fresh. My daughter, she's 15 years old, the one in the white dress. Those are both my daughters. I picked up my 15-year-old daughter, Riley, from school a couple months ago. And she got in the car, and I said, how are you doing? How was your day? She's like, not good. And I said, what happened? And she said, well, she had tears in her eyes. And she said, a couple girls surrounded me, and they told me that I was irrelevant on this earth. They told me I was irrelevant on this earth. Now, that's quite a label to be put on a 15-year-old girl. You remember those 15-year-old days? Please, Lord Jesus, don't take me back. I was so overwhelmed with emotion and truly crushed for her because it's so hard to hear hurtful words, right? It's hard to hear and see, somebody that you love so much have a label be put on them that is not true. And we all know there's so much pain in the world right now with women, girls. But here's what I know to be true, ladies. You can't help what people will say to you or how they behave. But you can be fully awake. You can choose to be fully awake to knowing who you really are. And that's what gets me up every day. That's why I do what I do, to show her, to show both my girls. And also to show you that no matter what someone's telling you or saying to you, you matter. Yeah. I just want to tell you that you matter. It's important. What's your name? Jesse. You matter. Thank you. What's your name? Lisa. You matter. And the tears start rolling. Because when's the last time somebody looked at you in the eyes and told you that you matter? What's your name? Melissa. You matter. Yeah, thank you. Patrice, I know you. Wasn't Patrice amazing? We love Patrice. She's my friend. Just wanted to say that. Patrice, you so matter on this earth. Like, you matter. Okay, what's your name? Michelle, you matter. What's your name? Denise, you matter. So here's the deal. When is the last time somebody looked at you in the eyes, especially another woman, and told you that you matter? Can you remember? And when is the last time that you took the time, 2 seconds, to look at somebody and say, you actually matter? We must wake up, rise up, and link arms to do what we're called to do. Because I want to make sure that the next generation doesn't waste time telling each other what they're not, right? Come on, ladies. We are all here to tell them who they can be and what's possible. But it starts with you, it starts with me, and it starts with us. Right? There's a real reason for my passion and energy around this, to live on purpose and for a purpose. Maybe some of you have heard it, maybe some of you haven't. I just want to let you know, I didn't just like wake up like this. Haven't always had this much energy and excitement around life. But you know, sometimes we all have, we get to go through wake up calls, mile marker moments. Anybody been through any of those that kind of shift and change your life, your perspective? Mine was a little over 19 years ago. I was 26 years old, married in my first trimester of pregnancy, and the doctors told me I had stage 3 cancer. They told me that I needed to abort the baby and have chemotherapy start immediately. The only other option was to cut the cancer out without anesthetic. And they told me if I chose that route, I most likely would not live past 40 because the cancer would come back. My entire world stopped. I remember thinking, oh, I actually thought at 26, I actually thought I was starting my family. I thought, things were going well, and I thought maybe I would just, I would be able to make this happen like everybody else, and it would be a great life. And I remember when I got that news, I thought, oh, I guess I am being punished. I had shame from my past. I had things, trauma, drama, pain. And I just thought, oh, this is another thing that's just being added because I deserve it. I didn't know how to articulate that, but that's what I really felt. And that took me down a road of darkness, defeat. I felt hopeless. I felt like the oxygen was removed out of my soul. Have you ever felt that way? Just like, what? Hold on. Can I just come back later? And they wouldn't even let me leave the hospital. They're like, you have to choose. And so, again, going down that road of feeling that way, I just kept consuming the words, you're not going to live past 40. It's hopeless. All of these things, right? I chose to keep the baby. I chose to take Vegas. She was my older girl that you saw. And listen, cancer's not my story anymore. I'm almost 46, ladies. And that's not even my story anymore. That's been gone a long time ago. But in that moment for a couple of years, I replayed, those words that the doctor said, you will not live past 40. This is a hopeless situation. And I would consume everything that told me that. Everything. And all it did was actually help me to believe that I actually didn't have influence and didn't have an impact. And I wasn't going to live a life that, I started comparing. It was just really bad because I was consuming those things. But one day, I actually decided, what if I listened to the voice of God louder than the voice of the enemy? What if I stood on the word of God and believed what that said versus what a human is telling me? What if I actually took responsibility for my health, for what I'm consuming on every level, and I actually started to speak out a different story? What would happen? Well, I'll tell you what happened. First of all, again, no signs of cancer. I have a beautiful, almost 19-year-old going off to college. You can say another prayer for me soon, whenever you think of me. That's happening in August. But there were 3 scriptures, and I want to give these 3 to you today. And Teresa talked about it at the beginning, John 10:10. These were the 3 that got me through 8 years. And I stood on these scriptures and I spoke them out. And I started speaking life over my body, my cells. I started speaking the opposite of what was taking me down. I started to stand on the word of God and not only just take these scriptures, but I learned more around these scriptures, the Bible, the stories. I was so consumed. And listen, I was the girl that was I open up a Bible and I'm like, I want to love it, but I don't understand it. I want to pray like everybody else, but every time I open my mouth, I shake. And I just started praying because we serve a living God. The Holy Spirit is real, and seriously. And then he sent his son Jesus to die on the cross so that we didn't have to live in shame or pain or trauma anymore. I'm like, Lord, I want all of that, but I need you to help me. He will always meet you. I'm like, I don't understand. Can you show me? I started opening up the Bible and it just started speaking to me. And Jeremiah 29:11 told me that I should have hope and I should think about my future and I should really understand that my future is meant to be abundant And I started to speak that out. Same thing with Ephesians 3:20. I started to speak out that I could believe super abundantly more than I could ever ask for. And I was like, super abundantly more? I love that word. Yes. And so I started to believe super abundantly more that I would be the healthiest 40-year-old mom with teenage daughters. And I wrote that in my journal. I spoke it out every day until it was true. And then John 10:10, that's the one that Teresa was talking about earlier. And I was like, wait, that's the one that got me like really like angry, because I was like, wait a second. So you're telling me that there's a real enemy that's out to kill, steal, and destroy? And that verse, I always tell people, like, that scripture used to scare me, like, oh, I don't want him to steal, kill, destroy me. But then somebody explained that could mean steal your dreams, destroy your confidence, kill your relationships, your health, whatever it is. And I thought, wait a second. But then the second part said that Jesus came to bring us life, and life to the fullest. So you know what I decided to do? Speak life, claim life, and it changed everything. And then I decided to live out loud and bring whoever wants to come along with me. And live out loud was never about being louder, ladies, really, but I love loud. But it really is about speaking out loud, using your voice, being able to say out loud what it is that's inside, why you're here, why you're doing what you're doing. And I had to believe that there was real freedom on the other side of believing this and living life to the fullest. I had to believe that on the other side of despair, pain, doubt, and hopelessness, there was real joy. And not only joy, but real opportunity. And you know what? In a room this size, I'm confident that more than half of you, if not all of you, have had moments like this, where there's been some sort of discouraging word or a traumatic event, or maybe, I know this sounds harsh, but maybe you have had a death sentence over your business, maybe since 2020, your finances, your marriage, your health. But I'm here to tell you that today, you get to decide to rewrite that story. You get to decide that the next season will be full of opportunity, yes, abundance, yes, and life. And it's a choice that you will make today if you desire. I realize a lot of that, gets you excited, doesn't it? It's not just about being awake to that reality. It's also about taking the responsibility. Taking the responsibility to actually make it happen. And so I'm just going to share with you 2 of my activations out of my whole activation system, my Proven Live Out Loud activation system. I've seen these activations take women from stuck to thriving, discouraged to passionate, even women from like 7 to 8 to 9 figures. And so the first activation is about skilling up. You have to understand where your gap is, where you are right now, and where you desire to be. So I really want you to think about that, where you are right now and where you actually desire to be. Because there's always going to be this gap, this area that you need to skill up in to fill the gap. Think about it this way. Where do you want your business to be 1 year from now? Imagine we're all together next year, if I get invited back again. Shameless plug. What will you be celebrating? What will we be celebrating together? Anybody want to like shout it out, or you want me to give you some hints, what I think? Yeah. Oh, Woman Air. Yes. I love that. I want everyone in this room to be a Woman Air. Doesn't that just sound so amazing? I mean, who doesn't want to be a Woman Air? I just love Reen and Teresa and all of you so much, like the words and everything. So I know that some of you actually, besides the Woman Air, which is obvious, I think some of you want to finally double down on 1 or 2 core strategies, like wholesaling or flipping, right? And I think some of you might want to quit your job by creating income through investments, rental property, or wholesale income, right? Okay, I got a lot of you want to quit your JOB. We'll be celebrating that. Woman heirs, quitting the JOB, and let's go. So what's the one thing that you can do that will cause you to be celebrating? You've got to think about it sometimes like that. Like, what's the one thing that I'm going to take away from just today's talks? And then tomorrow, what are you going to take? You've got to claim it. You've got to make it a must. And you've got to focus on this the next few days. Put your eye on the target of what it is for you. And don't get overwhelmed by too many things, because that's what I've heard. Like, everybody needs to double down on like one or two things here. Like, don't even go to the second until you've mastered the first, right? There's so much opportunity here, like for a really, 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 really long time, forever and ever, amen? So like, just go do it. Don't make excuses. Figure out what you have to do, like as soon as you get home, to move the needle so that you are not stuck. Don't wait. Do it right away. So once you choose the area that you're going to go all in on, you have to understand one other missing piece. You know, oftentimes people don't realize that they just need the right questions to get to the next right best answer and next right best action to take, right? I find that sometimes people are just like, I don't know. But if you actually were to take the I don't know and said, okay, what question do I need to ask myself here to get me to that next place? This is what I know to be true. If you don't have the right questions, you won't know the right direction to go in. I've learned from countless successful women and woman-heirs, that again, it's not about having the right answers. It's about having the right questions. So, yes, round of applause for that. But guess what? I know some of you are like, yes, I knew that. And then some of you are like, but what are the questions I'm supposed to ask? Tell me. That's what I used to do. I'm like, okay, I'll give you a few. Okay? I promise you will get where you need to go. Okay? All right, so the next step from my proven system is the activation of your habits and your discipline. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. You're here because you want to have success. You want to build legacy wealth, right? Am I right, or did I get it wrong? Okay, let's just say legacy wealth on 3, because it just feels good, okay? Let's say supernaturally, but I'm just kidding, that was too long. Okay, so we're gonna say legacy wealth on 3, ready? 1, 2, 3. Legacy wealth. That sounded good. I think we could have done a little better, but we're good. Okay, you desire to be at the highest performance level, right? I mean, none of us came here for just like the basic stuff. We want to, like, you want to be at the highest performance level, right? Your discipline and habits should always support.
Not just in a small habit like drinking more water, waking up early, or working out. I absolutely think those are fun, especially 30 minutes. Okay? We have to make sure. Okay. Shout out to your, okay? So, listen, it's not just about what we know we should have habits, but it's about paying attention to your deeper choices and habits that I know will turn you into high performance. So right now, I'm making sure that everything I did. All 4 of those things are different things that we're doing on a daily basis, okay? So what you should consume, what you should eat, and how you should live. Take a moment and really think about what you've been consuming. What are you reading? What are you, it's a good time for a pause. Oh, yeah. I thought she was pausing. That is huge. Are you consuming things that are toxic? Probably. What you choose to consume will determine what you choose to believe. And what you choose to believe is absolutely what will come out of your mouth. So it's what you choose to do that. And the way you choose to speak and what your words say is absolutely how you live it out. I have no way. It got simple. It really did that simple. Not really easy. I think it got simple. But this is the hard truth. There are things that you're consuming that are keeping you stuck, delayed, causing confusion, things that are actually taking you out of the game. And I know that a lot of you are here because you're like, I'm just gonna go to one corner and I'm out of there. I don't like, in my, if I don't get to where I need to be, I'm out of it. What is taking you out of the game? And if you feel that way, can you actually sit down and say, okay, what am I consuming? What am I believing? What am I saying out loud that's actually supporting me to live like that and not live in the place that I'm called to?
And even just like
when you live
consuming, meaning like, it's good for us to sit here and listen to constantly be putting stuff like this inside, you know? Because this is one of those things where we're seeking to make a really big change in our lives.
Yeah, and I think that I forget when other things are coming in, or I don't notice until it's kind of,
Yeah.
too much to me.
I mean, come on, I mean, the news are saying some things that I'm not even gonna say in this room, right? Unhealthy foods, or stories that are discouraging.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you want to live in a place through all choice where you're consuming positive health, power podcasts, books to grow your mind, worship music, to bring in the Holy Spirit and be like, Lord, take over, what kind of Lord you fill me up? That's what we were doing right here. Or, and are you surrounded with community of life? Are you consuming yourself? That's what you're right? This is like the best group on the planet. I can feel you. I love it. You know, YouTube's my favorite one too. So it's like, and when you consume good things, you think things like, I get to, because I have to. I've really gotten a habit for 15 years now, just even if I don't want to, I get to feel good. But most of the time, you get to. I don't think people will never hear me complain about anything that I do because I choose it. So I get to do it. Instead of I have to. I get to wake up early. I get to do that. I get to do that. I don't have to. Also, I will instead of I wish. I will do it. Not I wish. I will. If you want to do it, you will do it. You gotta see what that. You have to understand that there's always going to be storms and resistance that come against us. We often get attacked by our highest calling. If you want to live out loud and pursue your highest calling, you must decide to speak out the story that you desire to live out. I don't believe in faking it to make it, so I just want to say that. I don't believe like, let me think to make it, but I do believe in walking, talking, and acting like it's done until it's done. Like what I did, when I said I'm going to be, I will be the healthy 40-year-old mom with teenage daughters. When doctors are still telling me how to do it. Yesterday, and I started speaking. I walk like that, I talk like that, until I have that. I wrote in my journal for 20 years, I would write $100,000 and $100. I would write $100,000 next to $2. Last year, it's only been a little over a year, it's been a year now. We started a love out God in my office for my love organization. We gave $100,000 in the first year. It wasn't me, But here's the thing, at being here, you're constantly consuming possibility, opportunity, and belief, right? So when you get home, make sure you that with fear, doubt, scarcity. For example, what I was referring to earlier, the world is yelling recession. The news is yelling recession. But I think Green says millionaires are made in recession. Correct. Right?
Mhm.
So right now, I think we should make a choice to stay alive and just make a choice to really create those high-performance habits that will help you consume the things that will get you to the next level. And one easy way, all you have to do is commit to consuming all that we have for you first. Like you're here, this is your thing. Commit to what they are offering. Commit to being around the right people. I encourage you to take advantage of every single thing that you have at your fingertips, the people that are around you, what they have to offer you. Pay attention to what you get to choose to consume and how that's going to change your language. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. Don't debate your dreams. What I didn't finish telling you about my daughter. Because after she told me that story about what you still said to her, I was more reckless than she was. She said to me, Mom, I'm actually glad it's me and not someone else that did it into the fire. I debated whether or not to follow the rock, but that sounds pretty harsh and strong. That's exactly what she does to me. And I thought, wow, how could a 15-year-old little girl know that? And then after talking to some wise women, I knew about it. It's because in that moment, she took responsibility to believe a different story. Because of the work that I have done, because of the people that I surround myself with, because what she sees me consuming, because what I tell her, she let it roll right off, even though it was so harsh. Way worse than nothing, bro. Really. But she had to take responsibility. I've always told her how loved she is, and yet what she consumes, what she believes, all that matters so much. And that's why I'm so passionate about every one of you, because all of you do matter. You're so good at here. What you're doing here matters. It will absolutely affect that next generation of girls. And we have to show them. We have to do it for ourselves first. So it'll just roll, isn't it? It'll roll off their back and know that they are all you know what you want. You know what I mean? No more sitting in this place of like, I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. I don't think I have the right voice or the right voice. It's not true. There's every little girl out there and teenager.
Every little girl out there and teenager and 20-something that needs every single one of us. There's not enough of us. There's not enough of you to go around. Yes, applause. Clap to that. Because here's the deal, even in the face of adversity and being told that she was irrelevant on this earth, she stood firm in who she knows she is, and she didn't let it take her down. And I just wonder, if we look back, if we were in a situation when we were told something that really affected us and still impacts us today, that still replays in your mind, I wonder if we would have known this because we had other women showing us, if all of you would be all woman-heirs right now. Really. And that's why you have to do it. Do it for her. Do it for my daughters. Do it for your daughters. Do it for somebody else's daughters. Please. That's all you need to do is just show up and do what you're called to do. Because activating your impact is not only about you, this is about the next generation. We have to be women who choose to speak life over ourselves, over each other, and over the next generation. I want you to stand up right now. We're at the very end, ladies. Let's stand up. Come on. You know, I always have something where you have to stand up. This is what I want you to do. I want you to say these 3 words. When I say 3, I want you to grab a partner, just look at another woman in her eyes. It is so important to look at each other in their eyes. Don't talk yet. Hold on. We're almost there. Okay, hold on. I know you love each other, but hold on. Okay, this is what you're going to do on 3. You're going to look at each other, and you're going to say, you can, you will, and you must. Hold on. That was good practice, but wait, we're going to do it on 3. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. You can, you will, you must. Let's do it again. Yes. One more time. Ready? Look at each other. 1, go. Woo! Seriously, you can, you will, you must, not just for you, for the entire generation of women who are following your lead and living in your legacy. Ladies, for such a time as this, you are the right women for this season, this calling, this impact, and I cannot wait to be celebrating every single one of you next year. You are called to live out loud.
Woo! That was incredible. All right, ladies, put that in the chat. Just like she said, it matters so much. The words that you speak to yourself, that you speak out loud. I can, I will, I must. Put it in the chat, ladies. Blow it up. I want to see it. And then we are going to be taking all of your questions from this weekend and fire round answering all of them. Not only do we have Teresa and Justin in the house, we also have a special guest, Clifford the Cowboy Closer, that is going to be answering some questions as well. And so stay tuned. We are going to be answering all of your questions. And then Teresa has one final message that she would like to share with you. So I will see you after the Q&A.
Yes.
Hello, beautiful. How are you? Oh my gosh. Are you having a blast? She can. If I can, and she can, you can too. Man, it's been a powerhouse of a day, a couple of days. We are nearing the end. Have Justin and Clifford, the Cowboy Closer, here with me, and we are going to just spend 1 hour answering questions for you. So, if you have a question that we have not yet answered, I want you to drop it. Whether you're watching Facebook, you can drop it in the comments. If you're watching Vimeo, you can drop it in the chat. And we're all going to have all of the questions pulled up, and we're going to try to answer as many questions as we can. What y'all think of Brooke Thomas? Fire! Yes. You heard from Kelton a little bit earlier today. House hacking. How about house hacking? Is that amazing? So, you got an opportunity to meet Justin. He taught you all about negotiating. I call him the negotiating king. You want to give these ladies a shout out?
Absolutely. I'm so happy to be here with you, and really happy to do what I love to do most, and that's talk about real estate. So we're here to answer all of your questions. Unfortunately, Kelton is not feeling well, and he is not going to be able to make it. So you're just going to be stuck with us, I guess. But trust me, there's enough knowledge in this room to take care of any questions you have. And I just want to encourage you to put any question. It doesn't matter if it's small or big. We'll answer it. We'll make sure that you get a solid understanding of it. And we're going to give you the next hour of just anything you need to know. So we're ready to jump in, and appreciate you coming out, brother, and sharing some knowledge. As y'all know, this is Clifford, who I introduced, but more importantly, he's one of our coaches who is just here to give back and help and educate you ladies inside of our network. So appreciate you coming, brother.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Glad to be here and bring some value and answer some questions.
Yeah. I've kind of mentioned it before. We just came off of Ring Live where we had, and I saw somebody ask, how many students do we have? We have over 4,000 students. And so we spent 3 days, really almost 4 days, just had the most amazing event with over 2,000 women from all over the nation. We shared some of those speakers with you. The energy that was in that room was absolutely crazy. But it did wear us down. I'm losing my voice. That's why, and Kelton just made it through teaching.
Yeah.
And then he was like, hey, I'm out of here. Y'all going to have to do this Q&A by yourself. I think we got it.
I think so.
I think we got it. So,
Yeah, I'll hop right in.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, first one I saw says, do you offer commercial property mentorship? And we do not. We're a firm believer and do what you do best, and that's what we really enjoy is single family real estate. And one of the things I'll share there is a commercial is a lot bigger numbers typically. However, it doesn't mean there's a lot bigger profit in it all the time. For instance, one of our favorite strategies and really what we focus on the most right now is doing fix and flips on large homes. And we do large additions. So we'll buy houses that are selling for $400 or $500 a square foot. And maybe it's a 3,000 square foot house. We'll slap another 3,000 square foot on it. And then we'll go sell it for $2, $3, $4 million. And the only difference is our profit is bigger. So we have one that we're doing right now that will make over $1 million on a flip. So I say that because I don't want you to get stuck in the mindset of like, oh, I want to be bigger. I don't want to own just a single family. There's a lot of ways to make some money.
How much on the one flip?
$1 million, baby.
That's awesome. Awesome.
I saw a question. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
About can we explain the 1% rule? And you actually nailed it in your question. So basically, if you're buying a property for $300,000 all in, as long as you can rent that for 1% of that at $3,000, then you're good. That meets the 1% rule, and I can use that all day long. You just have to confirm and verify that is the rent rates in that area.
Absolutely.
I see two quick questions. One says, can you join the network without joining the mentorship? And the other one says, is there financing available for the 19.5? No, unfortunately, you cannot join the the network without joining the mentorship. And that's simply because everyone in the mentorship has the same education, the understanding, and understands all the strategies, formulas, all of that stuff, since there's so much partnering and lending and all that kind of stuff. So unfortunately, you cannot do that. However, there is help on the financing or funding available on the mentorship. And if you just put in an app, someone on our team will visit with you and they'll walk you through that process and see if that's something that you're interested in.
Absolutely. I love this question. For someone who is new to investing and shy, if I went to a network event and I approached you, how do I make a first impression on you? So I love this question because, I know that we have some introverts and just it's a little harder to just, none of us really are introverts, but we talk. I love to help introverts because it's all about building your confidence. And the first thing you're going to learn when you go out to network, and you've been through this program, that you know way more than you think you know. I think that's the thing is you think everybody knows more than you, but the truth is you know as much. Sometimes you're going to find that you know more than some of the people in the room because a lot of people are one-trick ponies. They only know about rentals, or they only know about flipping, or they only know about wholesaling, and you know about all the things. And then especially as you get into the mentorship, you're just going to learn, and you're automatically going to build your confidence as you get in and you attend coaching calls. And so the way I always say is go in with your shoulders back, dress to impress, go right up, shake people's hands, and just start a conversation. Ask them what they're doing for marketing. Ask them, whatever you're doing. If you're flipping a house, say you just have some questions about, hey, how long does it take to get permits in around here? Just go in with some really great questions, and you're going to want to fit right in. Don't have anything else you want to add to that?
I do.
Well, go for
it. Fun secret. I am naturally an introvert.
He keeps telling me that, but I don't.
Was. So when I started, Brandy used to have to pray with me. No kidding. before I go into those networking events because I will get so nervous.
Well, look at
And
you now.
I know, right? And I've just come to realize is that it's just a quality conversation. Justin puts his boots on the same way I put my boots on. Well, he's not wearing boots today,
He's a little different.
yeah, but when I could just focus on having a quality conversation, not every single thing needs to turn into a business deal. When you take away that pressure of, oh my God, I have to turn this into a deal. No, I talk to Justin, see how he's doing, see how his family's doing. When you can just be yourself and focus in on that, it's gonna take away that nervousness.
Yeah, and I'll add on that too, just because I also love the question because it's literally where we started. And Kelvin and I were going into every single meetup we could find, and really we kind of went the opposite route. So instead of going in there and trying to gain everyone's respect of knowing it all, we went and found the people who knew it the most. And we're like, hey, I'd love to take you to lunch. Can I visit with you for a few minutes? And hey, I'd love to take you to a steak lunch. I'd use that one all the time, and I'd take them to a steak lunch, but I'd get so much information because they're willing to share with me. They're willing to open up. So you don't have to go in there and know it all. You just have to go in there and talk to somebody who knows a lot and try to get as much experience as you can. We found the guys who were the most successful. We asked them what they were doing, and then we did it better. And that's honestly what I mean is we did it more. We did if they're doing 1,000 bedded signs, we're putting out 2,000. If they were sending out this many pieces of marketing, we were sending twice that because we knew if they could do it, I can do it. So she can do it, something like that, right?
If I can do it and she can do it, you can do it too.
I know, I was kidding. But yeah, so don't go in there thinking you have to know it all. Just go in there and be humble. Try to find someone who's doing well. Get as much tips as you can, and then go and implement it. That's the harder part, is implementing it.
Yeah. I love this question. What is the minimum amount of properties to own to be a woman heir? I want to do this. Hey, it doesn't. I mean, we have some people that own $1 million worth of equity in their very first property. Some people are buying, smaller houses and they have 10 properties to reach it. Or some people just make $1 million in wholesale fees, or maybe a few wholesales and a few flips and some equity. So there's all kinds of ways to do it. But if you have $1 million worth of equity, or if you have made $1 million in profits, then you hit the woman heir. So come on.
I like the question. That means
They got a mission they're on.
Exactly.
We all need to be on a mission. What are the details on the financing? And so jump on with one of our team members and they can walk you through that. It's different for everybody. It's going to depend on your credit score and all that. Let's make sure you're a good fit, and then they can get you all of the information regarding that. I do think you have to have a score of about 600, and you have to make about $35,000 a year to qualify. So jump on a call.
So I want to address this question, and y'all tell me if I can. Okay. Somebody asked, Miss Ivy asked, is the mentorship worth it? So Miss Ivy and everybody, I want y'all to know that I am a product of their coaching. And for me, I would do it 10 times out of 10, especially knowing what I know now. Had it not been for this family, I would not be sitting here with you all right now. And not only did I make $340,000 in just assignment fees, my largest flip was $267,000. I own rental properties now. I have a nonprofit that is fueled by the real estate investing that we do. And my wife works for the company. My daughter's about to start coming full time now. Like, is it worth it? And in my opinion, absolutely tenfold. And this is for somebody who has gotten coaching from me, not just because I'm sitting here with y'all. Like, seriously, it's been life-changing, not just for me, but so many people that is connected to me. You know, my mom is doing real estate investing that is retired. Her first deal was like 66,000. Yeah, in Garland. Like, this is insane. Like, how many people, our youngest daughter literally said, Dad, do I have to go to college to do real estate investing? I'm like, you know what? No, you do not. And what's funny is she's asked multiple times. Yeah. She even said, like, Dad, when can I start learning this real estate?
Get her in the mentorship.
Come on. That's what I'm saying. Like, y'all, this is affecting, it's going to go way beyond your pocketbook. Like I can't even explain. And not just the money side, and I'm sorry if I'm going on, but I was working a job that I hated, that I was miserable at, that my health was taking a toll. I was missing my family. The moment I quit my job and was able to do this full time, that mentorship became worth it to me.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with the dollar amount.
And full disclosure, when Clifford joined, it was about $50,000 for the mentorship.
Yeah, because it was obviously you're like, how did he do this? He's a man.
Yeah.
But Justin and Kelton had a co-ed program. This was way before the Women's Real Estate Investors Network was a thing.
Right.
And they had a co-ed event. We had live events in Dallas, and Clifford came through there. He sat through a 3-day, exactly what you just did virtually. And at the end of that, he said, I'm going to join, and I'm going to be your best student. And man, he kept his
question
word.
to you is, how much would you have paid?
For sure.
All right, let's get back.
But I'm sorry, I saw that. I love that.
I want to say this. Clifford was so coachable. I mean, he came through, and not only did he learn real estate, man, you jumped in, you started listening to the podcast, you became a reader. You started your health and your fitness, and I mean, you just jumped in and you did all the things that successful people do. And that's why you're sitting there. And so he was our very first coach when we created the Women's Real Estate Investors Network. I was like, okay, we need some coaches. And we didn't have very many women at the time. So we said, Clifford, he said, well, I don't look good in a dress. I said, well, that's all right. They're going to love you anyway. And he is literally at Ring Live, when he came up on the stage to speak, I mean, literally those women went crazy. He got a standing ovation. And that's because he's changing their lives. He spends hours with them. You jump on a coaching call with him. He walks you through marketing, and he sews into these ladies, and he shares everything that he's learned, and their lives are changing. And they went wild whenever you took that stage, Clifford. And I was so proud of you. So grateful for what you're doing for these ladies.
I'm grateful for y'all.
All right.
I saw a question someone asked. I've been reading that wholesaling is saturated in my area. Can I do virtual wholesaling? Well, I will tell you this. We are in Dallas, Texas, one of the busiest parts, and there are probably more real estate investors here than at least in the top 3 if I had to guess. And it's not saturated. I mean, closing deals all the time. Our students are closing deals all the time. So, yes, you have to put in the work, and you've got to go find the deal. But trust me, Clifford's mom, who probably learned everything she got from you, I imagine, and she went out and got a wholesale deal and made $66,000. Like, it's not saturated. But more importantly, I want to focus on, that's why you want to learn all the strategies as well. Don't go in there, as mom says, a one-trick pony, and try to learn wholesaling and wholesaling only. If a wholesale deal doesn't work, a lot of those people who are probably writing it saturated turn around and walk out the door, where you say, well, hang on, maybe it may not work for a wholesale. Let's talk about a sub-2. Let's talk about a flip. Let's talk about a wraparound mortgage, and the list goes on. And a lot of those you may not know at this point, but that's the whole point of having.
And it's all of that training is in the mentorship, so you'll know more strategies.
So that's the key. Don't go in there thinking you're a wholesaler. Go in there as a real estate investor and see which strategy works the best.
Hey, I just have to talk about that because believing that something is saturated, or that's a mindset. And it's an excuse, and you're thinking about all the competition. And I'll tell you, I mean, I've thought the same thing. When I used to go door knocking, I mean, I'd knock on the door, and there'd be 3 other cards there that an investor before me, left. I might not have taken theirs down and put mine up. But you know, it doesn't, I'm not gonna worry about the competition. I'm just gonna do my part and I'm gonna get a deal from it. Eventually, I'm gonna be in touch with the right person. So don't worry about competition. Don't worry about saturation. You just do the things that we teach you to do and you're gonna get the deals.
It's almost like a scarcity mindset when you think about it's saturated. And I would even challenge y'all to look at it a little bit differently as an opportunity to collaborate, right? If I know that Justin is buying properties in one area where he can make $1 million on a flip, which is, I need to be doing those. I don't know why I'm not doing $1 million flip yet, but I know that, okay, I can pass those deals along to him and that we can collaborate together. We can partner on deals together and vice versa. So you actually want to be in markets where there's a lot of investors, in my opinion, just for that reason. You don't want to be in areas or markets where other investors aren't, right? Like if you know that a lot of investors are on this particular side of town, then you know they're making money there. Right. And that's where you want to be.
And why don't you actually talk about virtual wholesaling as well?
Oh, that's my jam. So virtual wholesaling, about 90-95% of what I do is virtual wholesaling. So we don't step foot into these properties. So we'll typically jump into a market. Let's just say I'm closer to Dallas if I want to go into Houston. I do all of my marketing out there in Houston. I focus on having those quality conversations through the phone with the seller whenever they're ready to sell. We utilize things like mobile notaries, DocuSign. It's super simple. Actually, it's a lot more simpler than you think.
And do you share with those ladies how to do that on your coaching calls?
Every single step of the way.
Absolutely.
I leave no stone unturned to where, like, even lately, I did a live bonus training with those ladies where they watched me call their leads. So ladies and people who are like, oh, people in New York are rude, they're not gonna talk to you. I got on the phone with them live and yet they got to hear me talk to those sellers from all across the nation.
Yeah, so get out of your head. Get out of your head about you can't do it where you live or the market's saturated or it's too expensive. I already saw somebody say here, how do there's no houses for $300,000. I understand that. You don't have to have rentals in your own backyard. I literally talked about that. First of all, did you know that at least two of our woman-heirs are in California, highest place. One of them's from New York. Highest place. Is that not crazy? Yeah. So that's some of the highest places in town. Two reasons. Because because there's an extra zero when you buy it, there's also an extra zero when you sell it. So it's more money in your pocket. But also they're not all doing deals in their backyard. They're doing them all over in different cities, different states. And that's the beauty of a nationwide network, is because you can partner up with people all over the world. So there's not anything to hold you back. There's no excuse to hold you back. So I have students that are killing it in small towns. With Wendy in a little small town in Maine.
Brenda's
doing all of hers in Tuskegee.
Yeah, Alabama, which is a small town.
Yeah.
In the big picture.
Yeah.
She's a woman there from it.
Yeah, and she's on the Woman Air panel. So it just doesn't matter where you live, little places all over. And listen, the smaller your city, the less competition you really do have. I'll go to the next question.
Hey, and I know some of these are moving fast, so if we did answer it, feel free to repost it.
Yeah.
We'll keep trying to roll through.
I saw one, if I may, that says, how do you estimate your repairs when you're wholesaling virtually? So this is important for me because I go off of a price per square foot basis on rehabbing. So I know that, let's just say, for example, a median grade rehab here in my market is about $40 a square foot. So if I'm talking to a seller and they tell me that house was built in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, well, I don't need to go and look at that house to know that I need to fully update that house. I don't need to go and look at green carpet and purple paint to know that, okay, this is going to take a full cosmetic update. And then I can just calculate $40 a square foot by, if the house is 1,500 square feet, that's gonna put me somewhere in the ballpark of about 50K in repairs to cosmetically update that house. And then I do big ticket items on top of that, roof, foundation, HVAC, if those are bad.
Absolutely. Let's see. I love this question. If you find a distressed buyer, I think you mean a distressed seller, and you draw up a contract, how do you ensure that there are no liens on the property? And how do you protect yourself and get out of the contract if you do discover a lien? Well, you just worry about getting it under contract. And then remember, I taught you that you just send that contract over to your title company, title attorney, whatever state you're in, and they are going to check for liens. If there's a lien, they're going to let you know. And then you go back to the seller and you're like, hey, we found a lien or two liens. And you either renegotiate, and that would mean less money in their pocket to cover the lien, or you just terminate the contract. Remember, we talked about a due diligence period, an option period. And so you go in and you either renegotiate or you terminate and you're not responsible for anything. And you get your earnest money back as long as you do that during your option period. So,
yeah, I would say, remember, you're making an offer at an offer price. So if you're offering $350,000 for a house and they have $300,000 in equity, but then they have a $100,000 lien, that $100,000 lien comes out of their equity, right? You're never paying more than what you offered for that
absolutely.
house. So make your offer of what you're willing to pay for it. Then let the title company do everything else. And I mean, we've had houses where sometimes they've had to bring cash to closing just because they went out of the house so bad. But obviously we try to not make that the case and create a win-win where we can always put money in their pocket. But it's just, you just never know. However, I will tell you, I haven't had many liens show up that have stopped me from actually getting the property.
I want to be fully transparent. You're the only person I know that got a seller to bring cash to closure. I'm just saying. He's the only one I know.
I told you he's a negotiating thing. I told you.
I hadn't got there for you, and I'm working on it.
But hopefully you don't have to.
And what did they bring down? Didn't they bring like 20K or something?
One of them did, yeah. And that's 20K and it's up too.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great deal.
Several people asking about LLCs. And so, listen, we are experts in real estate investing. We do not teach, all accounting, and we don't teach all those things. However, that's why we partner with Prime Corporate Services. if you're one of the first 50 that join this mentorship, you're going to get a strategy call, and they are going to sit down and talk with you. What are your goals? What do you want to do? They're going to help you decide what kind of entity you need, an S Corp, C Corp, an LLC. They're going to walk you through that. We're going to help pay for some of that for you for however many entities you need while you are in our mentorship. Anything else about Prime Corporate Services except that they're amazing people to work with?
I personally work with them. They're awesome.
Yeah.
The fact that they'll set up your LLCs for no cost going on and on and on. I know we've made our money back because we have so many LLCs that you just let them know, hey, I need to know that. Boom. All you've got to do is pay the state filing fee. There's no other cost that you'll incur other than a state filing fee.
And this is a real entity, not like, we so advise against jumping out on the internet and going and creating your own LLC for $250, because if there ever is, you want to protect your assets, you want to protect yourself, and your do-it-yourself entities may or may not be there for you when you need it, if you need it.
Probably not.
All right.
Joining real estate associations in more than one city.
Do you recommend joining real estate associations in more than one city? Is this the best way to find private lenders? I don't know in more than one city, but we definitely recommend joining any kind of associations in your city. You need to know that's where you're going to find your investor-friendly contractors and title companies and realtors. So that's a great place to go networking. So definitely you want to join in your city.
This question asks, Clifford, step by step, how do you start your calls, and what lists do I use when I'm calling, and what's my opening line? So I pull everything. So probate, pre-foreclosure, tax delinquent. Remember this, y'all. We are looking for problems, okay? We need somebody that needs to sell that house. So there's going to be all type of problems on all of those lists, right? So don't limit yourself to just one list. Foreclosure obviously is amazing. It's a problem that's easy identifiable. If I'm saying that correctly, it's right there. But basically, it's my opening line is, hey, my name's Clifford. I'm a local real estate investor just reaching out to see if you're open to an offer on your property. Just that simple. They're either going to say yes or no. And then the conversation will go from there.
We don't hold nothing back, do we? Give it all. To them. To be honest, I love it. No, I really do. Someone said, what kind of questions do you ask when you take them to lunch? Ask any question they'll give me the answer to. I'll go above and beyond, and I'll ask how they're doing their marketing. I'll ask who they're doing their marketing through. If they say I'm doing signs, I'll say, where'd you get your signs? If they say, I got them from this place, I'll say, what'd you write on the signs? If they say, oh, I write this on the signs, I'm like, how'd you get so many signs out? Like, I'm going to ask them anything I can, and I got my time. We're at lunch, right? I'm buying the lunch. I'm going to ask my questions. But honestly, it's just trying to get as much info as you can.
And then go do it. Don't just ask the questions, but go implement. Go implement. I just have to share this. When y'all first started, way before I was, even part of it, that's exactly what you did. You'd taken somebody to lunch and they told you they were doing bandit signs. And however many, they said they were doing 200 a week. And so what'd y'all do, 500?
We did 400 a week. I did 600, sorry, 10 did 2.
Yeah.
And then once we started getting results with that, we said, well, shoot, let's do more. And we got to 1,000 a week. And there was one point where we had 2,000 bandit signs out a week. We were running a whole company. I mean, we had people who would write on the signs. Then we had people who would put the signs out. And we had a tracking system. So every sign they put out, there's no picture show up on a map. And we had storage units full of signs. Half were blank, half were written. They'd go pick up their signs. They'd go take them out. And that was just like, hey, if I know it works with 200, what'll happen with 2,000, right? I will tell you that got a little too much. And we dropped that down to about 1,000. And now that I don't do bandit signs, I still pay for storage. And I got hundreds of bandit signs written and ready to go.
But you know what is really funny is so I have 3 sons. You haven't met Tanner, but you had the Jeep. One person would drive. They would come up to a 4-way stop sign. The other 2 sons would grab some signs and they would go cut them out on all four corners.
Took the doors off the Jeep.
Yeah, and then they'd go to the next 4-way and do it. And so listen, it's just how committed are you to this?
And you get creative.
Yeah.
Like for me, I didn't have 2 brothers to take the doors off. So at first I was putting 300 out a week by myself.
Woo!
And that was like a job. And I'm like, okay, I need to change this. So I got smart. And here where we stay, we have day laborers like at Home Depot. And I would pay somebody like $50 for that day. So they would hop out and hang all the signs. So all I had to do was drive around. It went by so fast, it was insane. I'm like,
yeah, if you got a teenage kid, they can go with you.
Yeah.
Pay them a little bit.
And if you say I don't ever want to touch bandit signs, I don't blame you.
That's right.
You don't have to by any means.
You never have to doorknob.
I did it when I first got started because we were learning. We didn't know all the different strategies.
We don't do any of those things anymore.
No, absolutely not. Do they work? Absolutely. If you want to, go for it. It'll definitely work. But don't feel like you have to do that. If you want to do mailers, if you want to partner, if you just want to fund it and have someone else do it, your opportunities are endless.
That is the beauty of this program. Is it doesn't matter where you are financially. If you're broke, then you're gonna have to start the way we did. I mean, you're gonna have to do some things that are maybe a little uncomfortable for you. But if you've got some money and you just want to be the end buyer, you never have to do any of the marketing. You're gonna have tons of women just bring you deals inside the network. All you gotta do is log on to Facebook every day. There's gonna be people after people after people saying, hey, I got a property here, I got a property here. If you've got money sitting in a 401k or in your bank or tucked under your mattress, every day there's somebody saying, hey, I need a private money lender to fund this deal. And you just lend them their money. It's usually for 6 or 9 months and you make 10, 12, 15% on that money. That's the easiest way to make money in the world. So that is what's beautiful about this program is it's for every woman in every state, in every economic situation. We are creating win-wins for each other.
I got something that says, how do I actually start besides joining the team? Is this program show you step by step? 100% step by step. That's the whole point of it. So when we put this program together, we sat back and said, what is it that we would need if we started over tomorrow to be successful and get to where we are today? And we said, first and foremost, we need a network. 2, we would need to understand all the strategies. 3, we would need to understand how to implement the strategies. And that's where the training comes in. 4, we would want someone we could talk to and ask questions to, and that's where the coaches come in. So yes, there's a quick start program when you hop in, and then there's all the coaching calls for you. So it's once you get going, you will not have any questions of what to do. It'll just be up to you are you going to do it?
You jump on one of the first things you do. We have a few workshops. You jump in the workshops. They help you set up your entity. Set up your business, getting a business phone number, getting all the things that you need. The next thing you do, is you start the marketing. And we just, every single thing is laid out for you step by step by step. Kelton, again, has the 30, 60, 90 day where it literally walks you through what to do for the first 30, 60, 90. People love that. They go crazy about that. I see it in the Facebook all the time. I didn't know what to do. I watched that workshop and it's laid out. You just do it. So that there's no excuse to not be successful because it's all laying right there for you. All you got to do is pick it up and take the steps.
Someone said, I have a couple of vacant lots. Is it better to put a manufactured home instead of building? ? My quick answer is I prefer to build. Mobile homes traditionally in the past have not appreciated. They actually depreciated. Now, obviously, over the last 2 years of craziness with COVID and all that, everything appreciated. So you've actually seen an uptick in those. But for the most part, it's kind of like a car. Over time, your car's going to depreciate. The more miles you get on it, the older it is. With a house, it's not that way. With the structure, it's not that way. But with mobile homes, I feel very strongly that it's going to start going back that way over time. So I personally would not go the mobile home route. However, you can wholesale them. You can make a lot of money on them. But if I have the option of building, I would not go with a mobile home.
I see a question that says, what is a sub 2? So that's a creative strategy where we purchase property subject to the existing mortgage that we really go. Did y'all talk about that?
We did not.
Okay, it's a creative one we'll talk about on our coaching calls together.
There's also a training in REI Resolve.
It's amazing. I literally bought a rental for $5,000. It's insane. Insanely creative.
You just bought another one
Go ahead.
that you're going to turn around under finance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
a few days ago.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there.
Yeah. So you literally just really quickly, you purchase a piece of property subject to the existing loan. You just literally start making their mortgage for them and take over the loan. It's not an assumable note, so don't get that out of your head. That's something that happened before. They don't even do assumable notes anymore. You don't have to qualify for this. You literally just take it over. And again, it's all in our training. We can't teach you everything in 3 days. We try.
We go in depth on that in the training. Like, just know that there's way more that we get into.
Yes, and somebody says, is there time to ask all of your questions on the coaching calls? Absolutely, there is. That's why there's so many calls. There's 9 coaching calls a week, noon and 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and that is so that you can catch a call that works for you. And there may be anywhere from, I don't know, sometimes as low as 30 people on a call, sometimes maybe 70. However, probably only 10 or 12 of those people actually have a question. The rest are just listening, because when you're just learning as you listen. But those calls typically about 90 minutes. And we're there till, if you have a question, you just speak up and we're going to answer it. So don't be, so many people think, they will say, I need one-on-one coaching. And what you're going to learn really quickly is you don't need necessarily that one-on-one coaching, because you're going to learn from other people asking questions that you didn't even know you needed to ask. So.
I've got one here that someone said, can you talk about buying a prime small piece of property with like an ocean view and then building on it? First, I like your style. Like if there's a piece of property you want to buy with an ocean view or something like that, you absolutely can buy it and build on it. Now, I will say, I can't guarantee you it's going to be a great deal, right? I can't guarantee that you're going to go in there and just flip that thing or whatever you're wanting to do. However, I look at it this way. If it's something you're buying for yourself and maybe you make it a short-term rental when you're not using it, hey, now instead of you paying the whole mortgage, you can get half of it paid by someone else. So in the way you're asking a question, I'm assuming it's something that you want for yourself. You can absolutely buy that with the money that you made, but just know you're not going to go probably turn that into a 70-cent deal overnight and then flip it. I'm not saying that you can't. All depends on what price you buy that piece of property at. But if it's premium oceanfront, you're not usually finding home run deals like that.
Teresa, I got a question. It's for you, but I actually would like to hit on it as well.
Okay.
It says, how do you involve, Miss Amy asked it, how do you involve the Holy Spirit in your business?
Well, for me, I just start my day with prayer, journal, talking to God, saying, Lord, lead me, guide me. I acknowledge you. And then that's it. And then you just believe that. I'm always, reading the word of God, standing on the promises, believing, trusting. And then as you're, going out to talk to a seller, I'm on my way. I'm doing all the things that Justin taught and, getting ready, getting psyched up. And, I'm also saying, okay, Lord, lead and guide me, give me favor with the seller or give me favor with the contractor. And really, that's it for me. What about you?
I believe that you don't separate the two.
Yeah.
Like, you don't separate God from your business. God is a part of our business. And for me personally, our business motto is that we are building generational wealth by serving other people. That is what our plan is. That is what our goal is. And every time we step foot into, well, we do it virtually, but every time we talk to a seller, our goal is to focus on serving them and helping them through that difficult situation in their life, whether we're a good fit to work together or not. I want my seller to have the best options possible, and we lay them out for us. And then, of course, just praying and just doing what's right.
Yeah, being ethical about everything you do. I love this question, and Justin, I have one that I want you to answer. First of all, it says, question. Realistically, what is a time frame I would expect to make my first deal? There's no way I can answer that because I don't know how fast you're going to jump in and do the things. If you just jump in and do the things, you could in the first 30 days. But I would say, we did a survey. Was it typically 90 days? We did a survey. But I mean, it's really all over the map because some people are just, they take 2 months to set up their business. Some people set up their business in 2 weeks. So that, it's hard to answer that question. It's all about you. But I'm going to tell you something. You have all the resources to get this done in 30 days. 60 days easily, 90 days all day long. So it's just, what you decide to do. Also, everybody's in a different season of life. I mean, some of you, hey, your kids are grown. You have all the time. Some of you have full-time jobs. You're still taking care of kids. You've got parents. You've got all these other things. So everybody's in a different season, and that's what we really teach is try not to compare yourself to someone else. Somebody else's journey is their journey, and success for some people is getting one deal, and they make $50,000 on it that year, and they are happy. That's $50,000 more than they had, and they're happy. I mean, some people are trying to jump into Woman-Air in 1 year. I mean, so it's all over the place. Some people don't care about making a Woman-Air, but they want 15 rental properties the first year. So it's just, everybody's got a different idea of what success looks like for them and their family. And that's what we try to teach is we're all in a different season. We're all on our own journey. So it's hard. The question I've seen a couple times is about double closing. My state, California, says that sometimes wholesalers will have to buy the house, which results in a double close. Can you talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, so double closes are not necessarily needed. It's something you can do, and it's funny because the question I wanted to answer is actually going to feed into this, and it'll help explain it. Someone said, if you're going to wholesale a property, say you have it under contract for $400,000, and then you're going to wholesale for $450,000, do you need to tell the seller? Absolutely not. All you need to do is explain to the seller what you're going to purchase that house for. They don't need to know if you're going to flip it and make 200. They don't need to know if you're going to wholesale it and make 50. They don't need to know if you're going to turn it into a rental. And frankly, they don't care. All they care about is being able to get what you're offering them. And if they're satisfied and you're satisfied, then what you do with it after that doesn't matter. If you're wholesaling it, you don't have to do a double close. The sellers aren't going to know how much you're wholesaling it and assigning it to the next person for. So what I say that to say is you don't have to do a double close. Now, some people will do it, and when you say, okay, say you get this home run deal to where you're going to make $200,000 on let's say $100,000 on a wholesale fee, and they don't want their end buyer, the person they're wholesaling it to know how much you're going to make. So they'll do a double close where they'll close first, then they'll turn around and sell it to the end buyer so that he doesn't know how big their spread is. But I'll be honest.
Or if they're in a state where there is, no wholesaling, then you can do that. You can do a double close. There's other ways around it as well.
There are other ways around it.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Partnering.
But all that to be said is, I don't really care if they know what I'm going to make on it. I'll just tell them flat out, like, yeah, I'm going to make $100K. If you're not happy with it, then go. I'll sell it to the next person. But more importantly, when someone was wholesaling me a deal and they were going to make 100, I'm going to high five them and say, heck yeah, go brother. Go
They did
sister.
some good negotiating.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm happy to pay for what you're selling this to me for. So I hope the seller made a lot of money. I hope you made a lot of money. And I know I'm going to make a lot of money. So don't get caught up on either side of those when it comes to double closes. It's not something you have to do. We can jump into more details in the training of what it really looks like to do a double close. But that would be the last thing, especially if you're a new investor, that you need to be focusing on right now.
And another great thing about being in a program like this is there are people out there that are slimy, that are going to be upset about it. And it's because, I don't know a nicer way to say this. It's ignorance when somebody gets upset about how much you're going to make on a deal. They should celebrate you. And in our mentorship, it would be, we're high-fiving, like, dang, you did good, and I'm still getting a good deal on this. It's when you start getting out there and doing business in some of these Facebook groups, you don't know who you're dealing with. You just have to be really careful. And so that's all I'll say about that. I do want to answer this question. How do I find people for midterm rentals? So there's platforms for midterm rentals, just like there are for short-term rentals, like Airbnb, VRBO. Clifford, help me. Is it Furnished Finders? That's one of them. I don't have a midterm rental. We need to get us a midterm rental.
There's several. There's a lot of sites for nurses who are coming in, and they have 8-16-week rotation.
You can literally Google it and find it. Google midterm rental platforms, and you can find them. All right. Y'all see another question?
Do you use websites for your business? I personally don't. It just depends on what form of marketing you're going to do. So if you're going to run like PPC or SEO, then yeah, you'll definitely need it for something like that. Absolutely.
I've never run PPC or SEO.
PPC, paid per click. This is like or search engine optimization. That's the SEO. That would be like for Facebook ads. If you want to be a little more technical with your marketing, it's a great way to do it. But if that scares you to death, then you never have to touch that either. That is the beauty. Have I said this before? There's so many ways to do this. So there's something for everybody. There's a way that you can get in on this. If you happen to be super techie, man, go that route.
Fun fact, I still don't have business cards or a website.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I still don't. So don't spend 2 months, 3 months trying to make a business card.
Yeah. Somebody says, do you recommend a HELOC? Absolutely. That's going to be, you're going to get some cash back and go buy other properties, do whatever you want to do with that. And then I love this question, am I going to be lost in a crowd of 4,000 people? If you're talking about the 4,000 women in our network, absolutely not. Those are going to be your partners, your friends, your cheerleaders. There is nobody feeling like they're lost. There is nobody. We had 2,000 of those women in a network, and nobody's thinking there's too many people here. They're getting pictures together. They are hanging out and networking together. We plan on growing this thing bigger and better. We don't have some kind of a, scarcity mindset. There's plenty to go around. And the more women that we have out there, the more money in the network, the more private money lenders, the more success for everybody. So the bigger impact we're making. So yeah. All right. Anybody else have a good question? Somebody says, when are you going to show us your new home? There's some videos in the Facebook group of my home that I just finished.
How's your pool coming?
It's coming. I'm putting in a new pool and a pool house. It should be done. Should be completed by November 5th. So I'm not going to get into it by. Don't you tell me. Don't you tell me. Don't you tell me. It's got to be done by November 5th.
To be determined.
It's going to be absolutely beautiful. I just want to throw this in though. We just finished. I moved into my house November 1st, and then really just got some things done right in time for the Women Air dinner that I hosted at my house. And so my house is completely finished, other than that pool and the pool house. But got all the wallpaper done and had all the Women Airs at my house, and it was so much fun. So you can be at my house next year. Come on, girl, jump in. But there are videos of it inside the Facebook group, not this Facebook group, but inside the Women's Real Estate Investors Network.
Someone said that people always tell me to be aware of HELOCs. What do you say to debunk that? I'd say Kelton's already talked to you about how debt is good when you use it the right way. So yes, a HELOC is a negative thing if you use it the wrong way.
Yeah, don't go to Disneyland with it.
That same person would probably tell you a 12% interest rate is a bad thing. They probably would have told you a 7% interest rate was a bad thing 2 years ago, or a year ago. It's all about understanding what you're going to do with that. And I mean, you can't get a loan on a mortgage right now for 7.5%, much less your 12% hard money loans are not even that far away from it. So it's all about how you use that money that makes it a good or bad thing. If you're gonna go use it to buy a new car, no way. Go buy new shoes, absolutely not, because you're paying a high interest rate. But if you're using it to go spend that money to make an investment that's gonna appreciate and give you time or give you a big return, then use that money all day long.
Absolutely.
I see a question. Do you all have your license? If you're referring to real estate license, no, I don't.
I do, but I just got it about a year ago, so I didn't need it. But Kelvin has his. He got his right after I got mine. And I mean, to be honest, I got it because I'm a mentor and a teacher. Oh my gosh, I probably have a real estate license, but I don't use it. And you don't need one. Yeah, but if you do have one, it's going to come in handy for some things. So I always say, listen, if you have it, then go ahead and use it for some of the benefits. But if you don't have it, I don't feel like there's any reason to go out there and get one.
And I work with investors who are investor friendly. I'm sorry, with realtors who are investor friendly. So I can get them to list it for me at a discount. I can get them to make an offer on a house and actually give me proceeds back from the 3% that they make on it. So you don't have to have your license to get creative. But at the same time, as Ron's point, if you can sell your house and it not cost you anything, any of the 3%, then that's huge. So
I see a question she asked, what about foreclosures? Is it good to go that route? Absolutely. We definitely want to be marketing to them. And then there's another question that says, how much is the minimum amount of money to be a lender? I don't think there is a minimum. It just depends. Now, you might not be able to fund the entire purchase price in rehab, but what if they have the rehab amount you can cover and just fund on that?
And partner with them and make it a JVA to where you're protected. You don't want to make sure you're not second, third, fourth position lien, but you can partner up with someone and find a way to utilize your money that way.
And we have a finance coach. So once you get in, if you have money that you want to loan, well, first of all, Prime Corporate Services is going to help you, figure out where you need to put that money. And then you have a finance coach that can literally help you know exactly how to loan that money out, how to make sure you're doing it safely, how to make the most amount of money on it, all the things. So whether you're lending or borrowing, you're going to want to jump on one of the coaching calls with our lending coach. I have a home in another state that is a long-term rental. What steps do I need to turn that into a short-term rental? Well, first of all, you want to make sure that that it can be a short-term rental in that particular area. Some cities, counties, HOAs have banned them, so that's the first thing. Then, does it make sense? Is it in the right location for a short-term rental? You need to be within 20, 30 minutes of something that is drawing people into that area on a regular basis for it to really be a successful short-term rental. The next step for me, I would advise call Evolve, and they're going to walk you through it. They can tell you about how many nights they think it would be rented out and they're going to tell you how much it would go for a night, and then they will help you get that thing onboarded. You're going to have to furnish it completely, and they will help you get it onboarded, and it's really simple to turn it into a short-term rental.
Stacy has a question here. Do we know how a new digital financial system is going to impact the housing market, and how should we prepare when the dollar is no more? I mean, to be honest, the house value is not going to change based off of how you accept your money. If it's digital money, if you're trading food, you get this much food, and you take that much food. Like, there'll always be some kind of a bartering system to where it is, and we know the housing prices are only increasing. So I wouldn't get too wrapped up on how you make your money. I'd just be making sure I'm making the money, and I get paid in Bitcoin, crypto, anything you want to pay me in. But I would not get too wrapped up in that.
I have to answer this question. Do you have trouble finding labor builders for fixing up in our areas? I love a question when they say in my area. Oh, you don't understand what's going on in my area. There is a shortage, and they're in high demand. And many people I know are just waiting for them to become available. Do you have any tips or strategies for this sort of issue when this is the case? Okay, so it's the same in all the areas. I mean, yeah, there's a few places that have it a little bit worse. But again, I'm going to be honest with you. You got to get out of that victim mentality. I remember Justin telling me this one time. If you have to get up, if you're looking for a contractor, and if you have to get up at 9 o'clock in the morning, and you have to make phone calls, and that's all you do is from 9 until the time you go to bed that night, you make all the phone calls until you find a contractor, and you don't give up, and you just stay persistent, and you go to Home Depot and hang out. You call every person you know, and you just be determined that you're going to find somebody to do whatever it is you need, and when you have that mentality, it's going to happen. Or you can go, well, I thought I was going to flip houses, but I just can't find a contractor. And I can't do it. And girls, there's no room for that. There's no room for that. So it doesn't matter what the problem is. I told you what John Maxwell said. There's always a solution to every problem, and you're a problem solver. So don't talk about the problem. Just figure out how you're going to find that person that's going to help you solve your problem. Anything I want to add to that?
No, I mean, you said it perfectly. Like I told you that time, just go find them. Like, so if today my job is to go find a deal, when I go find a deal, and I know I'm going to flip it, the next day my job might be to go find a contractor. Once I find a contractor, the next day my job might be to go find a designer. I'm going to go find a designer. The next day my job may be to go find the hard money loan. But I'm just treating it step by step, because that's what it takes. Now, granted, you can do it all at the same time. You don't have to do it day by day. But if you did have to, hey, if you're going to flip a house and make $100,000, do you think it's worth to spend one full day picking up the phone and calling contractors? Do you think it's worth one full day of hopping a network or going to meetups to find a harder private money lender? If it's not worth your time, then you're probably making well over millions of dollars right now every single day. If you're making that much money for something like that, it's not worth your time. So I would just highly encourage you to take it day by day, step by step, and be determined as Teresa said.
Thank you. What's the difference between an auction and a pre-foreclosure? On PropStream, when I click pre-foreclosure, auction properties populate. Yeah, so a pre-foreclosure is before it goes to auction. So on auction day, after that, now the bank owns it most of the time. Sometimes something happens and it falls through the cracks, but 90% of the time and we don't mess with bank-owned homes. After it's been auctioned off, then the bank owns it, and you have to go through them, and you're seldom ever going to get. It's called a short sale a lot of times. or a bank-owned property, and most of the time you're not going to get it at 70 or even 80%. They're trying to sell them at full price, and it's a long, drawn-out process that we don't really like to mess with. Any thoughts? But I will say this: you hear us say foreclosure, and really what we should be saying is pre-foreclosure. And most investors actually just say that because after it has been into foreclosure, we're done. We're trying to help people before it goes into foreclosure.
Let me take 2 seconds to answer this one, just because it says, I'm too old to even try to understand this crypto Bitcoin currency, but I put a kink into starting REI in my 70s. No, I answered a question, and that's the only time I've ever talked about crypto in front of people. So, Mom, do you own any crypto?
No.
Do you know anything about crypto?
No.
Do you want to know anything about crypto? No.
I want to know about real estate.
Yeah, don't get that out of your mind.
Yeah.
There's nothing that matters with crypto when it comes to real estate. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just saw a question where to go. I believe Hope asked it. She's like, I've been out of the REI game for over 10 years. Is this something that I can get back into? Absolutely. Get back in the saddle. Grab the reins and let's go.
They
Come on.
really don't even change that much, to be honest. Do you hire an architect to help decide what to do? Only on a really big, when we're taking off a roof and adding a second floor and all of that, then we do. Other than that, we don't.
It just depends on also, are you need permits? Is the city requiring you to get one if you're doing additions, if you're moving a lot of plumbing, if you're relocating the whole kitchen, like there'll be times that the city will require you to, but there's a lot of times you don't have to. It just kind of depends on each deal. And there's a lot of times that I don't ask the city if they want me to, because I'm just gonna go in there and do what I need to do to get it done. So I'm just being honest, but it's up to you.
Oh my goodness, Valerie asked, is the 19.5 the only amount charged for someone to join? Is there additional charges or a percentage of the deals you complete? Absolutely not. We do not take any percentage of your deals. Your deals are your deals. You pay 19.5 to get into our program, and that's a 1-year program, and we don't ever charge you for anything else.
All right, we got 2 minutes left. Y'all
All
want
right.
to power through some real quick?
Yeah.
How do you lower your risk besides using OPM? You want to make sure that you're running your numbers, running your comps, being conservative, and not over leveraging yourself, in my opinion.
Inherited a few properties from my dad that are paid off. How would you leverage equity to get to your next investment? One huge shout out to your dad for getting in real estate, getting properties, paying them off. I love it. That's generational wealth right there. And that now it's your job to take those and get more and more and leave it on to your kids or grandkids or whoever it may be. So I love the question. Hey, I got these 2 properties that are paid off. How can I get more? Well, use that. You can leverage that. Like you said, how do you leverage it? You can either do home equity line of credits on it, or if it's an investment property, you can do a lien against it. You can get a private money lender to lend against it. You can sell it if you wanted to. I wouldn't recommend doing that unless you were going to use that money to go invest in multiple other ways that can justify it. So it's really, if you just want to leverage it, you can get a lien against it and then use that on other properties. And Jordan, one of our finance coaches, can really dive deeper into that and show you, but you have plenty of ways to leverage that.
I see a question. How much are you spending monthly on subscriptions? It just depends. I'm really big on keeping costs minimal. So I only need what's necessary. So I don't try to get a lot of overstuff.
PropStream, you're going to need that.
Yeah, just honestly, a couple $100, few $100. It's hard to say because it's depending on the marketing that you're doing, which again, we talk about that and go really in depth on our coaching calls.
And you can work your way up.
Like I said, I still got storage unit with bandage on it. If it's out there and it's a tool, I want it because I can use it. And I'm looking for the next deal, the next deal, the next deal. I'm always looking ahead. So it depends on, are you wanting to save a little bit of money or you want to just take it to the next level? You don't have to start off
That's right. You can work out, and then as you start making money, the more money you can spend on marketing, the more money you can spend on subscriptions. So get in there with the bare necessities, get some deals, start making some money, and then scale. That's the thing. And somebody said, what strategy should I work with? Well, that totally depends on what your goal is and how much money you have and how much time you have. So there's no, if you just want to jump into the passive investing or do you want to jump into the active, so there's no real answer to that we can give for everybody because it's going to be different. But as you start jumping on these coaching calls and as you start watching the training and attending these workshops, it's going to start making sense to you. And you're like, this is what I want to do. This is what I should do first. And this is the subscription. The subscription that I need. Or hey, I don't even need any of those subscriptions. I'm just going to do this. Yeah. All right. Our time is up. If you have one more question, throw it in there. If not, Clifford, do you have any last words to these lovely ladies?
Last words for me is ladies, I want y'all to know this works when y'all work it. Again, I am here because of their blueprint that they laid out, and all I did was follow their blueprint. And I want you to know more than anything is that this is going to go way beyond real estate. That the impact that you're going to leave on those families, on your families, and people connected to you is way deeper than the dollar amount you're going to make. I think the best way to say this is your success is going to be somebody else's miracle. So you don't have to have any real estate experience. I didn't. Just follow the blueprint, and again, it works when we work it.
Yep.
I'll say go get it, ladies. You have everything that you need. I know a lot of people coming into this didn't have a lot of knowledge, but we taught you a lot of knowledge, and the one thing we took away from you this weekend was your excuse. You now know you can do it. You now know how to do it, and it's up to you if you're going to go do it. So if you believe in yourself and you really want to go out there and crush it and change your life, then do it. I look back now and say the best decision I ever did was jump into real estate. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't have money. I dang sure didn't have a program like this that I could have went to. But we were determined to do it. And we did it the hard way. We made it to where we are. There's nothing in the world that would change that for me now. And I would pay millions of dollars to be where I'm at in mentorship and training, and we do. We spent $250,000 this year alone in one program. We spent $100,000 to go spend one day with somebody who was a mentor. We spent $50,000 on a reoccurring every single year mentorship. I signed Russ up one, by the way, a few weeks ago. It's $20K. Like, it's just how we believe. It's like, hey, go find a way.
Invest in yourself.
Invest in yourself. It's the best thing you will ever invest in. But more importantly, just go out there and be successful. Go out there and try, and make sure you do it the right way. And I have no doubt that every one of you can succeed, and we can help change your life together. And I support you, and good luck to all of you. And thanks for spending your weekend with us.
Yes. Well, here's the deal. We're all going to be somewhere in 365 days from now. You're going to be a year older than you are right now. And what you choose to do with the information that you just received is going to mean all the difference of what your life looks like in that 365 days. You can wake up tomorrow, and the longer that you wait to implement any of this, the less likely you are to ever implement. But those who are action takers, those who jump in and say, I'm doing this right now, in 365 days, your life can look completely different than it does today. You could be completely out of debt. You could, maybe you're a woman heir. Who knows what your life will look like? So don't sit on this. Don't be indecisive. Get out there, take action. And again, it has been such a blessing just to be with you for these 3 days, to share this time with you. I hope that you have enjoyed every single minute of it. And I look forward to being on this journey with you. I bless you. Dream big and be brave.
Oh my gosh, was that amazing? I hope all of you
Oh my gosh, was that amazing? I hope all of you got your questions answered. I know that you submitted a ton of questions and got some amazing specialized knowledge from Teresa and Justin and Clifford, the Cowboy Closer. So make sure that if you are interested in joining the mentorship, then you fill out that link that we put in the chat. You book a call with our team, and then those of you that have submitted the request for an invitation have gotten an email to join us on Zoom tonight. So that's going to be with Teresa. She's actually going to get to see your face and congratulate the women that are taking action and joining the mentorship. So that will be a super fun call. So make sure that you put in that request to join, and we will make sure you get that invitation. And then we also have people on standby that you can book a call with to ask all of the other questions that you have about the mentorship program. If you have some nuances about yourself, your finances, if you just need help figure it out, we have a team that will talk to you and answer all of those. So we are going to be ending today with a incredibly passionate talk from Teresa about freedom, and that was our big theme for Reign Live, was let freedom reign. And so Teresa is going to be sharing that with you very shortly. I also wanted to let you know that we did put the Ryan's presentation in the Facebook group, because I know there was a little bit of a glitch there. We may have missed out on a little bit of information, so we did post that in the group. You can check out Kelton's Hash Tour as well as a bunch of other bonuses in the Facebook group. But I want to say that this is my last goodbye for you guys. If you will put in the chat your hashtag #SheCan, let me know what you have loved about this 3-day weekend, and I will be doing a special giveaway for your REI Get Started box. And this is for a 6-month subscription to PropStream. You get a MacBook as well to get you started on your real estate investing journey, as well as some fabulous other office items that you'll need, a special note from Teresa. So make sure you put that hashtag #SheCan2023 in the comments, and I will be selecting one lucky lady to be winning that. But it has been such an honor and just a fun time getting to interact with you ladies in Facebook. I just want to thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing, your struggles and your successes and everything that you've taken away from this class, and just really sharing your motivation to go out there and take action. It's amazing to see how many women's lives have been transformed in just 3 days. And you can imagine with the mentorship program how quickly your life will change as well. All right, so I am going to be choosing one lucky winner. So let me look at the chat. And I am going to select someone. And this is going to go to Miss Brett McCann Dennison. She said, I am the one. God is good, and I am ready to be a woman-heir. Hashtag #SheCan2023. So congratulations to Miss Brett Dennison. You are going to be our winner for our Get Started REI box. Ladies, it has been such a pleasure being your host and MC for this event, and I can't wait for you to hear Teresa's talk. But first, we have a 10-minute break for you to refresh after the Q&A, and Teresa will come back with her final speech for you all. Thank you. Good night.
Oh, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing. Hello. Okay. Well,
There's supposed to be a 10-minute countdown.
Excited. Has this been amazing? Amazing. Well, you've heard me say that brave people change the world. Brave people change the world. And I believe that you are brave. You know the word brave actually means having or showing mental or moral strength to face danger, to face fear or difficulty. It is having courage. And ladies, that's how we're going to end. That's how we're going to live the rest of our life. 2 Timothy 2:3 says, thou therefore endure hardness like a good soldier. And that means things are going to be hard in this world. But we're up for the challenge, right? Because we're called to be brave. We're called to do hard things. And the sooner that we adopt a mindset that doesn't dread or fear or run from hard things, our life is going to begin to soar. It's going to look different. Fear will paralyze us. President Franklin Roosevelt said, the only thing that we have to fear is fear itself. And so many of us, we just stay living in this small life. We never do anything hard. We never step out of our comfort zone. We always think, I can't, and listen, ladies, there's a whole world out there at our fingertips. Listen, our Star Spangled Banner says, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
My question is, are we? I am afraid that most Americans now are not brave enough to do anything hard, to get uncomfortable. We used to be a country that said, in God we trust, and we were the land of the free and the home of the brave. But for many, we no longer trust in God, and we have become the land of the anxiety and the home of the fearful. Listen, our forefathers fought for their rights and their beliefs, and they faced their fears, and they were willing to die for their freedom. Americans as a whole have become a people of mediocrity and subpar, and we're riddled with fear about the future. The economy, diseases, interest rates, what the government is doing, traveling, what other people think. But I'm calling us to be different. I'm calling us up. I want you to watch this little clip right here.
Sons of Scotland, I am William Wallace. William Wallace is 7 feet tall. Yes, I've heard. He kills men by the hundreds. And if he were here, he'd consume the English with fireballs from his eyes and bolts of lightning from his arms. I am William Wallace. And I see the whole army of my countrymen here in defiance of tyranny. You've come to fight as free men. Free men you are. What will you do without freedom? Will you fight? Against that? No! We will run. We will live. Fight and you may die. Run and you'll live. At least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom?
You know what? I believe that I see an army of women before me. We are freedom fighters, and we are going to fight for financial freedom, to fight for our families, to fight for our communities. And I want to ask you the very same thing that Wallace just asked. Listen, you can live a small life and never take any risk and die disappointed and ashamed, or you can die fighting. And we have to decide. We have already decided that we can, and we will decide that we will. But ultimately, we decide that we must do this. There are people that are counting on us. You are called. You've been appointed. You are destined to greatness, to a life of prosperity and impact. And I believe that the Women's Real Estate Investors Network is an army, and we're not going to whine. We're not going to give up. We're not going to accept things as they are. We are not victims. We will not let fear control us or paralyze us. While others are saying it is not possible, it's too hard, we will say, I must. I must. And listen, there is no easy button, no easy pill, and there's no easy road. The way to freedom, the way to abundance is not easy. It takes strength, tenacity, courage, wisdom, but we will declare that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Listen, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. And everything that we need is within us. Us sitting in our homes doing nothing, whining and being scared, I know that has to be so disappointing to God. Faith is what pleases God. That's what stirs him to action. Whining and victimhood and fear is what stopped the Israelites from going into the promised land. But courage and faith and expectancy took them into the promised land. And girl, we have a promised land waiting for us. I want you to see this clip.
Just say it. Cry out. Cry out. Just say it. Say it. Merci. Merci. C'est juste c'est The prisoner wishes to say a word.
Woo. You know, they were all waiting for him to cry mercy, and he could have saved his life. But he stood for freedom. And I'm going to tell you something. Freedom will only come to those of us who make a decision to stand, to be brave, and to do hard things. Now, listen, we're not going to have to give up our life for it, but we are going to have to be uncomfortable. And I believe that the Women's Real Estate Investors Network, we're more than just a real estate investing program. We are called to succeed and to prosper so that we can go make an impact in a dark world that is so desperate for what we have. And my prayer and my hope and my expectancy is for the army of women that I am speaking to right now are women who will fight to make change for yourself, for your family, and for your community. And together we can make a difference all over this nation. If I can, and she can, so can you. I bless you. Dream big and be brave.
Oh, sure. Okay, yes. All right. Okay. Okay, you're wondering about that. Yeah. Oh, yes, you could be out and crumble this way. Okay. It's hilarious.
How'd you like that?